Well, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of 13 Cards Subject to Change. As you can tell, it is not Zachariah. Zachariah is at a Twins game. Gotta be honest, they're probably losing right now. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I could go check and see if they are losing. he posted a lovely picture of where he was sitting.
Right, beautiful seats. Like I believe, like right behind like first base seats. I mean, they're really good.
He's got
seats.
a few. Yeah, he went to like a couple games.
Yeah,
this
he's
weekend.
gone to a few this weekend. So
Lucky bastard.
So this week you get me and Leroy, and you know what? You're gonna be better off for it. You're gonna be way better off. There's gonna be no weird ramblings and him disagreeing when we're absolutely correct. And I can't wait till he listens to this.
He's gonna love it.
He's gonna love it.
We don't have to listen to his voice.
That's right.
There we go.
It's a good day. So it was a very wild week of wrestling.
Yeah, it was a little bit.
We had a lot of a lot of news, a lot of different ranging of news, some things that had to be taken back by reporters. You know what? We'll actually jump into that really quick. So
and taken back by some wrestlers.
Yes,
too.
yes.
I do have her on here.
Let's start with, at first, I believe it was Wednesday night. There was an announcement leaked that WWE was planning on going back to TV 14. Now, from the report, and Andrew Zarian is a very good reporter. So if like I told people, if he heard it, it came from a good source. Probably a couple of good sources.
Yeah.
And so the news was that Raw and NXT 2.0 would be going to a TV 14 format, which apparently they've been planning for NXT 2.0 for a while. They didn't really report on SmackDown because apparently the sources said they don't have any indication on what the deal is with Fox. I think Fox would be okay with it, to be absolutely clear. Besides the sports stuff, SmackDown's the highest rated thing they do week to week.
And from watching it, they're kind of at that already. They're not
in
anything
a small
over.
way. Like the swearing is still held back, and a lot of things are still held back. Like I told people, even if they go back to the TV 14, it ain't going to be like AEW. It ain't going to turn into a blood fest or anything like that. I'm pretty sure Stephanie and Triple H are like, we did that for a long time. It didn't help the wrestlers' health long term.
No.
Like, we're not AEW. We're trying not to do that. But I think they were looking at, for creative and content and things like that, to just go ahead and just aim at teenagers and up. And then some characters will still be aimed at kids. So you still get the best of both worlds. The Ruthless Aggression era was, it was a great, a kind of a great look at what TV 14 could be, while also trying to bring in kids. Like some people don't remember, you had the main event stuff with Chris Benoit, Shawn Michaels, Chris Jericho, Triple H, Brock Lesnar, Kurt Angle, but you also had stuff like Matt Hardy 2.0 and Rey Mysterio. There was a lot of stuff that was there for kids as well. Now, there was also stuff like we still had the Divas matches and the bra and panties matches and stuff like that back then. That wouldn't be coming back. Don't worry.
Oh, no, yeah. And then some people are saying, they're just changing it because of AEW. No. Bischoff even threw that under the bus and had him run over that. It's like, no, they're not doing anything because they're afraid of, AEW is not even touching them.
No,
they're not going to lose they haven't lost anybody to AEW.
Right.
So not worried about that.
So, and the big thing really of the TV 14 thing was just the fact that to give Bruce some credit, he was the first one who came to Vince about trying it again with NXT 2.0. Just to see, because, those young wrestlers are doing a really good job down there.
Oh, my God, they are.
And, the young crop of talent that they have looks very, very special. Yes, a lot of it still needs some work, but it's coming along very, very nicely. And now with Papa H back, it's really coming along nicely.
Oh, yes.
And then on Saturday, Andrew Zarian said, well, listen, we thought that the TV-14 might start on Raw. Sounds like it might get pulled back. But the plan is still that they're going to do it. It's just it might not be this week or next week.
Mm-hmm.
It might not be up until after SummerSlam, which is fine. Now, the other rumor that was in there and report that was kind of in there and is something I touched on a little bit last week is that people forget Vince is still head of creative. He might not be CEO right now. He has stepped down from that role. It is Stephanie. Hell, he's not even COO like Triple H still is.
Yeah.
So most of his corporate power is basically gone. But as far as creative week to week, on all brands and all shows, he's still end all be all. And he's been pretty more on the risque TV PG, but he didn't really want to go back because there's a bigger market. If you're selling yourself to kids, and yes, there's a harder fan base, wrestling fan base. That's just like, well, if it's good enough, the kids won't mind. It should be the parents' choice, and that's fine. It should be.
Yeah, and if they want something like that, they could honestly put it on one of the pay-per-views.
Right. Which, by the way, they do. Sometimes, clearly, sometimes the pay-per-views are clearly very adult-oriented, but kids can watch.
And the show, I said, the show is more apt that everybody's gonna watch with the family and stuff.
Right.
And I do if the kids are home with me on Friday and stuff, they watch it with me or the recaps, so they can see it. They see a lot of stuff with the pay-per-views with me for a certain time. And then they go to bed.
Right.
And then if there's anything bad, it's going to be later on. Usually,
right.
So. But
so,
they're okay with that.
When I think about it, even if they went to TV-14, the New Day is still very kid-friendly.
Oh God, yes.
And they've already been swearing for the last 2 years, but they're still pretty damn kid-friendly. You got over on Raw, you got Ezekiel now. Very kid-friendly, very funny, very dad jokey. It's it works. So, like I told people in some chats this week, I do believe Andrew Zarian's original report. I think it leaked a lot sooner than WWE probably would have liked.
Yeah, probably.
Creative-wise, this could be a great thing because I feel like with PG, Vince McMahon has handcuffed himself to always changing his mind, making decisions, and understandable making decisions based on sponsorships and stuff like that. I mean, that's how they make. That's why they're $1 billion company.
Well,
because
yeah,
of all
yeah.
that. So I do think the TV-14 is coming. You will, like I tell people, you will see a change in the way they tell stories once that happens. I think in the main event scene, you might see a little bit more blood, but it's not going to be. It's funny. So I saw a meme that was like, well, Cody must have really wanted this, TV-14 because he likes to gush blood whenever he can. By the way, people, like I said, I don't think he'll be back to the Rumble. So we don't have to think about
that's what's going to happen. Rumble time, he'll be back.
Right.
I don't think that's true.
No, I think he even went to WWE because he went. Hey, listen, because he was trying to do the same thing in AEW, which was get more kids in the crowd. Now, before he left, he succeeded. And there is more kid-friendly stuff in AEW, and we'll get to them very shortly. Don't worry. And Dynamite actually wasn't too bad of a show. Fyter Fest wasn't too bad, but we'll get to that.
Part 1. This week it's part 2.
Yeah, well, yeah. This upcoming Wednesday looks only half promising, but we'll see. We'll totally see. But yeah, I actually do believe that. I think after SummerSlam, you're going to see them steer Raw and NXT to a much, much more kid-friendly but adult-oriented show because I think it'll allow them to I think it will allow them to be more creative. I think it'll allow Vince to be more lax in his creative, and I think you'll see stories be a bit better, which will be nice.
Yeah.
So,
Oh yeah. Yeah. We gotta get a few stories better.
for sure.
And supposedly, what are we gonna jump in next? I mean, because I didn't write it down, but it just offhand I heard some possible NXT call-ups.
So you know what? We can jump into that a little bit
Okay.
here. So the big one, of course, being Braun Breaker.
But it hasn't. I have not seen anything about him coming up.
Not recently.
But
He's always been that rumored name, though, for like.
But the last one I just saw, it was Oos, NXT, possibly coming up.
So
but,
I have seen that.
Yeah.
I gotta be honest. I don't think they should lock him into the bloodline. Here's why, and I know people want to see him with his brothers and his big cousin. He's doing very, very well in NXT 2.0. It feels like if you do that, you're shoehorning him into something that's going to be hard to kind of get out of once Roman leaves.
Oh yeah, definitely. If they bring him up, honestly, don't bring him up on SmackDown. You can bring him up on Raw.
Right.
And Usos can pop in there.
Right.
And that's fine to help elevate. So
he's
you know,
a really good babyface character though too. So
yeah.
I mean, yes, they're technically supposed to all be heels, but they're very much tweeners because people are going to cheer them. So, and they're smart; they're playing to it, and I have no problem
definitely.
with that. But, yeah, he's got a pure babyface character, so it would be kind of weird.
It would be, but I think he has a range enough the way the Samoan family and that family, he could go back and forth.
Right.
And I think he could. But yeah, he has great babyface. If they bring him up, I'd be surprised if they brought him up before Braun.
Well, before Braun and before another rumor name I heard, which was Cameron Grimes.
Yeah.
Unless Cameron really is going to be the guy to take the title off of Braun Breaker soon, I really don't know what else he can do in NXT 2.0.
What, Cameron?
Yeah.
No, there's...
Besides winning the big title, I really don't know what else there is for him in NXT 2.0. The character, he's evolved his character so much that I do believe that they wouldn't change much of what he's done. Cameron Grimes is a name that they gave him. The characters and the stories are stuff that it was Bruce and John Laurinaitis that kind of changed where his trajectory a little bit. So I can't believe I'm giving Funky Love credit for anything, but I really can't.
Maybe it was more than one than the other.
Maybe
I don't know.
And with Shawn Michaels being involved down there, it probably helped a lot. So,
well, I did honestly. If they pull Cameron Grimes and he's on either Raw or SmackDown, gonna be a huge pop.
Oh, for sure.
My kids will have a huge pop because they like Eben. He said like to the moon.
Yeah.
He knows it. So if he sees him on SmackDown or Raw, he's gonna go, oh, it's Cameron Grimes.
Oh yeah.
It's gonna get a huge pop. It'll work either way.
Oh yeah. I agree. So it'll be interesting to see which names. Unfortunately, some bad news in WWE. It does look like Io Shirai. The contract is up next month at the end of the month. I think the middle of the month. Actually,
I think so, yeah.
And it sounds like she's going to be gone, which stinks.
She wants to go home. I don't blame her.
So there's stories that she wants to go home. There are stories that, they're one of the backlashes of when Triple H came back. Finally, was unfortunately they kind of tethered Io away from everything that had been done to help her become a WWE superstar, and because I think just like Asuka, she would have been a superstar on the main roster.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Even through bad storylines, Asuka was still a superstar on the main roster. So
Well, that's Asuka herself.
well, Kana Chan is amazing.
Yeah.
My future wife when I propose and still get backslapped. Very hard.
Get up and say, thank you, ma'am, and you have another.
That's right. That's right. And yeah, it broke my heart to kind of to hear that, and when because I'm like, I haven't seen her on TV, and I think that's where that's headed, and that's heartbreak because she's insanely talented. Now, the only good thing about her going back is that New Japan has kind of, so as we talk about the culture of Japanese and in Japanese wrestling, they are finally, they put out a thing a couple weeks ago. We understand the culture, but from now on most of our shows, you're going to see the Women of Stardom there. So they're actually, because they're all owned by the same company. For those who don't know, they're all owned by Bushiroad, and her going back home means she's going to be featured a lot more. So that's the good thing. Of course, Kushida just recently went home.
Yep.
Actually looks like he might be going into the heavyweight division finally.
Oh, really?
Which is odd because he was there for like 15 years and they acted like they never wanted to put him there ever. But yeah, he's been featured with the heavyweights.
And maybe his run in WWE showed them, hey, he can hang with the heavyweights.
Probably helped a lot. So yeah, that is a downer. I think that's a downer that WWE is going to lose Io Shirai. The only way I see her on AEW is if they work a Stardom / AEW show, which is actually highly possible. But otherwise, that's the only reason she would be there. I think her trajectory is taking her back to Stardom.
Yep.
So
well, and that is it, as you said, that they're starting to do more and feature more of the females over there in Japan, which is awesome.
Yeah,
it's great. I'm so happy. For that to happen because we need more strong women wrestlers everywhere.
Yeah.
There's a good amount in the U.S., but not a lot in Japan. It's not featured. Now it's going to be featured more.
I mean, there's a lot of
very happy.
There's a lot of great women's wrestlers in Japan. You just, because of the culture, you don't know too much about Stardom.
Yeah.
Like, without guys like me telling you about it, you wouldn't even know it exists. So, it's the fact that they're going to start featuring them on their shows will go a long way. I think what will be next, and now for those who don't know, Wonder World of Wrestling or Wonder World, it's a different app than the New Japan app.
All right, yeah.
Apparently, Bushiroad is working on finding a way. And this is a rumor, but I figured I'd inform you guys so that way if it happens and I'm right again, I'm right again.
You're in a pretty good role with that
I've been on a really great roll. They have been trying to work on a deal to kind of combine the two, and then that way, if you have New Japan Strong, or you have the New Japan app, you pay maybe an extra $3 to $4, and you can kind of bundle the two, and you'll have Stardom and a couple of the other companies that are affiliated. New Japan, like I tell people all the time, New Japan really is the WWE of the east side of the world of wrestling.
Yeah.
And they actually have an empire lock on pro wrestling on the east side of the world. All Japan Pro is actually having their first big stadium show in 35 years. It's been 35 years since they've had a stadium show.
Where are they doing the stadium show there?
That is Budokan. I'll have to look that up and confirm that later. I believe that's Budokan, but yeah, because it's the 50th anniversary show for All Japan. And by the way, it's going to be a little expensive, but I can't wait to watch it.
Well, yes.
But yeah, so losing Io is going to stink, but I do like the future of the women's division in WWE as long as they don't cut any more of them.
No, and some of the ones in NXT that can come up.
Right.
It'll be great.
Right.
That happens. I mean,
Mandy Rose will probably be back up there at some point on the main roster.
Yeah, so. She's developed some good skills, good attributes from being down there. I mean,
I'm about to say it's funny. I remember when Triple H originally talked about, especially when Finn came back down, and he originally talked about, hey, I think it's okay if these wrestlers want to come down. One, because if we're working in cohesion together, which was the problem before, because they clearly weren't.
Yeah, I know they weren't.
If we're all working together, and it feels like Triple H has a lot more say now, which is nice. Then when they go up, people are going to know who they are. Because they're already watching NXT 2.0. They like NXT 2.0. And now when they go back up, they're bigger stars.
Yeah.
And it's just Apollo Crews gets called down, feels like a main eventer already in NXT.
Oh, yeah.
But it allows him to develop more, see where he wants to put his character. And then that way, you never know, because Vince now has no choice but to watch NXT 2.0 since the rebrand was mostly his idea.
And also, it helps because I know Apollo, he has no problem putting guys over down there.
Oh no, no problem at all.
And he's learning from them. I mean, because they're gonna go from NXT, next up the 2.0,
right?
From there, and then they're gonna get featured on
Raw or SmackDown.
Well, they're gonna go from Level Up to NXT 2.0,
right?
Then up the main roster and stuff like that.
For those who don't know, Level Up is a good show to watch.
It's like an hour.
My only problem with Level Up is this. If there is something you could steal from AEW if you wanted to, it's the fact that you could put Level Up on YouTube, seriously, twice a week, and I think you actually would get better wrestling matches than what AEW sometimes gives you on Dark and Elevation. Because sometimes those are matches with I don't want to say jobbers, but they're local enhancement talent that are.
Well, yeah, they do have some.
And yeah, for WWE, that could go a really long way because now you got people watching you even more on YouTube. For those who don't know, they get way more views on their like 5-minute clips than AEW does in any of their clips or shows or anything like that.
Well, most of the time, the clips that I see in there are the exclusive backstage things they have with that, and that's a big thing that I watch all the time.
Yeah.
It would be interesting if they would do that, or they might not because they still want to put that on Peacock, so they're hoping that people are spending, their only $10. I mean, that's what I'm spending. $10 to get that.
I get it free right now because I still have Spectrum. We'll see for how long.
Well, I have other internet to do,
okay,
but
for those who don't know, sometimes if you do know, sometimes you just live in a small town and your options are limited.
Well, honest to God, with us, as Zach we said last week, we're gonna be signing papers on having a small business.
Right.
That has its benefits too, because my phone that I get my service through, they got something coming up for internet that would be really nice. That I will get, and if it's really good, I'll let you know, and you get a good deal.
Right, I was about to say, almost as a business, it's almost better to do it as a business expense. But either way,
trust me, after we get that, I'm going down. They said, "Hey, come see, you got a business?" Almost. And now I do. And I'll be like, damn.
So we started with WWE. Now let's go ahead and get into AEW.
All right, yeah. I will pop back at NXT later.
And we're going to pop back into NXT here in a little bit.
Because they got a couple things in there.
Of course.
Oh, yeah.
So we had Fyter Fest Night 1 this past Wednesday. A lot of interesting things on this show, Leroy.
I did not watch it. I had some clips and everything, but I did get the biggest highlight was the new tag team champs.
So
I'm very happy about that.
Before I talk about the match, even the Bucks apparently can surprise me.
One of the boys is actually hurt, I heard.
Which wouldn't be a shock. Listen. They're great athletes. I will never take that away from the Bucks. They're better performers than what sometimes they put out there, which is why I get so upset with them.
Oh, yes,
and
I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you that.
but they're also both almost 40 years old. And when you keep doing these crazy spots, a la Jeff Hardy, eventually these things take a toll on you. People forget when Mark / Undertaker wrestled Shawn Michaels the first time at WrestleMania, I should say the second time at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Back in 2011, I think that was. He was almost 50. He was pretty. If he wasn't 49, he had to be 50, 51, 52. So when he dives over the ropes and the cameraman's supposed to catch him, and then he kind of lands on his neck, you understand why there was a real fear.
Oh God, yes.
Because the man's 50. The body doesn't heal that damn quick. Even at that point, he was still a phenomenal athlete for a 6'7", 300-pound dude.
Oh, definitely, yes.
But these two guys are almost in their 40s now. Like, you can't keep doing all these high spots all the time.
Yeah, and as we talked about before, it's like everybody's like, "Oh, don't go WWE," but he makes Vince and the boys there make your careers longer,
Right.
because they say, "Yeah, that's great to do, but no, we probably would not have Jeff Hardy right now wrestling still if he wasn't in WWE."
He currently isn't wrestling right
Well,
now.
I know if you didn't have the issues.
No, I'm about to say, now that's also, unfortunately, due to his other issues.
His personal demons.
But, yeah, they prolonged his career. Matt Hardy will tell you, they prolonged his career.
Yeah.
Like, people get, so, of course, the famous shoot, well, it turned into a shoot interview between Bryan Danielson and The Miz. And by the way, for people who don't know, they actually are still friends, but, they had a very serious moment on Talking Smack once.
That was.
In a legendary promo.
It's still the hairs stand up on my arm when I see.
Crazy.
Oh my God, it was so good.
And so, Bryan Danielson said, "I think you wrestle like a coward." And when he said that, a lot of people, of course, agreed with Bryan, because people are like, Miz just works a WWE style. Miz just works a WWE style. Miz, I believe that match was 2020 during the pandemic with Damian Priest. At that point in time, I believe Miz had just turned 40.
Yeah, that was right towards the end of the pandemic when they were getting people back in.
So he had just turned 40. People, do you know that was the first injury he made, especially major injury he's ever had in his career?
Yeah.
Just working in WWE style. The man has never had a major injury. Anytime he was off TV, he was doing other stuff. Sometimes other stuff for the company. But he never had a major injury. So when you tell me, the WWE style feels boring, yeah, but the WWE style is safe and allows you to have a very, very long career.
Oh, yeah.
The current WWE style. Like I tell people, really, if you watch the Attitude Era, it's very sloppy, and the fact that all of them have all these like issues now as they're older is not a shock. But nowadays, yeah, it's very safe. Seth Rollins looks like the best wrestler in the world because he changes styles. He has changed his style through the last 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
And he has been able to work safer and safer and safer and safer and safer and kept his body healthy so he can still do all these incredible moves. To give the Bucks some credit, they actually kind of worked what I would consider a partial WWE style match this past Wednesday.
All right.
And now I think WWE should do these again more. Now, for those who don't know, this was a triple threat tag team match. WWE doesn't do a lot of these anymore. we used to
they
get it
don't.
with the Hardys and the Dudleys and Edge and Christian, as people remember, and then for a while, the New Day, Harper, Rowan, God rest your soul, Brody, and the Usos. But they don't do it as much anymore.
And, I think right now there really isn't 3 major tag teams really right now. They're starting to. I mean, you got the Street Profits, you got the Alpha Academy, you got Oos, you got New Day, you got the Viking Raiders. So it is slowly getting back to actually being able to have that. And since the titles are unified,
right,
we can you can still do that.
Right.
Because that's what I thought that the next tag team might be a triple threat for the tag team titles.
Possible. Very
but
possible.
It wasn't, but we'll see. I mean, it can
when
happen.
They had the New Day, the Usos, and RK Bro. Hell, you can even throw the Street Profits in there. I'm like, you could have easily done Fatal 4-Ways the whole time.
With that, oh yeah, definitely, definitely. That would have been. Oh god, that would have been.
All
fun.
8 of those competitors are incredible. Like you could that could have worked.
Oh yeah.
Now they did it twice, and they did them on Raw and SmackDown with non-clean finishes, of course, because it's TV. But yeah. So first of all, congratulations to Keith Lee and Swerve, the first ever Black Tag Team Champions in AEW, and then also to give them some credit, they have tried to make this team work. Now, still personally, bless you. Now, still personally, I do think that I would rather see Keith Lee as a singles guy. I would rather see Swerve as a singles guy.
Yeah.
But they have made this tag team thing work.
Yeah.
And they work together very, very well.
And see, I was shocked and very happy that they did this, but I thought that I did not think I thought the Young Bucks would win.
Oh,
because I think because I decided because they're gonna be working toward another FTR match with them, but now with one of the Bucks hurt, now I can see it's not a bad idea to throw the belt on somebody else, and then which one is hurt can just go get healed up and relax and come back.
I mean, what'll be nice, and I hate to sound like an asshole, but what'll be nice is while the one guy is healing, the other can be backstage. And what I'm saying is I now look forward to seeing the AEW tag division because I won't have to look at the Bucks or that waste of space known as Brandon Cutler. But
well, they can go and hang out with Adam Cole because he's hurt.
I still like Adam Cole as a person, so I always root for Adam. But even though, unfortunately, everybody is right, his best days seem to clearly already be behind him, which is sad.
Yeah, unfortunately.
But yeah, this tag team match was fast-paced, ferocious. Also, big ups to Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs.
Yeah,
studs. Powerhouse Hobbs is a future multi-time world champion. I mean, the guy is a superstar on an insane level. The one thing I will give Tony Khan so far is this. I think he sees the young heavyweights he has in that he's got a bright future with these guys. Wardlow, Powerhouse Hobbs, Ricky Starks, Luchasaurus. I think changing Luchasaurus the way he did was smart. Because now I like the character again.
Yeah, and I hope that was partially Christian's help too.
It probably was.
Because he's been around, he's seen it. Go, hey, wait a minute, we should do this with them.
Right.
And that storyline, it's great.
Yeah,
it's great.
And by the way, what's nice is they're playing up. We don't know when Jack is going to be back, so. Now they're kind of doing this thing where Luchasaurus is kind of going on a tear, and it's nice to see a big guy, that athletic, wrestle like a big guy who's athletic and not an athletic big guy. People, and I know Kenny says some stupid shit. I don't even know if I want to address it, but this is all Jim Cornette's been talking about. Now, like I said, there's a lot of things I do not agree with Jim Cornette on, which is why, unlike you guys, I usually only listen to the show in certain spurts.
I know. I can sit there and listen excerpts, like 4 or 5 excerpts in a row. I'm old like him. I grew up watching him. I love his rants about different things. It's hilarious.
Even if we did a joint show together, people would be entertained that all me and him did was argue. But understand, I still have respect for the man.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I have a lot of respect. Like I have a high idolization of respect of that wrestling brain. I really do.
Oh yeah.
But otherwise, I do think most of the time he's a curmudgeon.
Yes.
But one thing I've always said he's right about is it's okay to be a athletic big guy and wrestle like a athletic big guy, but the key there is wrestle like a big guy.
Yeah.
One, it comes off better. Why are you doing flips with all the small guys who are doing flips? Weird.
It's not necessary.
And he's always been right about the fact it kind of looks weird on TV. Like, wait, why are you doing 450 splashes with the other smaller guys doing 450 splashes? You're a big guy. You should be power slamming these guys into the ring. Like, it just looks weird.
Bringing something like that out once in a blue moon on a pay-per-view.
Right.
It's fine.
Or just in a reversal of, like, a couple of small guys trying to get you, and they try to throw you out the ring, but you kind of flip out the ring on your own. You stand there like a big, tall opposing dude and get back. That's cool.
Yes, yeah, that's the way to do it.
It's safe, and it's like, whoa, how are they going to beat this dude? Like, he can just move like them. What the hell do you do? But Powerhouse Hobbs, he gets it.
Oh,
we
yes.
talk about it on the show all the time. He just gets it.
I've watched a lot of stuff with him, and I love him.
Man, there was this killer spot, Leroy, in this match where Powerhouse Hobbs basically spine busted everybody on top of everybody. And it was so ferociously done that you forgot that Ricky Starks actually had tagged himself into the match.
Was the spine buster very similar to the good old Arn Anderson?
Yes.
See, that is somebody's like, Arn Anderson, the enforcer, hitting that spine buster. That
I used to tell people
hurt. Oh my God, that hurt.
Outside of him, I used to think the best other spine buster I used to see was Triple H's.
Yeah.
Now, which is why when he originally came back, that used to be the setup to the pedigree.
Yep.
Because especially when he got real bulk, like it looked like it looked like he busted your spine with that thing.
Oh, God.
Like Triple H used to hit that thing with some power, but
that's the best if you can emphasize it and do that. Spine buster looks incredible.
By the way, his son currently has probably one of the best spine busters. But to be fair, somebody would say, well, you are his boy. You should know the move.
Arn's boy. Yeah, I hope so. I mean, teach him, okay, son, this is how you do it. He does it to him, and he's like, oh, Dad. I'm like, yeah, now you do that.
But, yeah, and to give the Bucks credit, they didn't wrestle their normal style in this. They looked like one of the best tag teams in the world. Like I tell people, my problem with the Bucks and why I didn't want to talk about them ever again, and I would never want to mention their names.
I totally understand. Zach found his time machine and it worked.
Right. Now
I'm glad we could do that.
Talking about him, was that I'll just use the word, and I hate using the word because I never believe wrestlers are lazy, but it felt like lazy storytelling. Like, because it was like anytime I would watch them in the match, I would go, I bet you I can call what spot they're about to do. Like, I bet you I know how they're going to do this whole match. And most of the time I could do it right then and there as you're watching the match. And you'd be like, dude, what? I'm like, because I've seen them do this 1,000 times. Yeah. At least anytime I've watched other wrestlers understand, as we had one on Arlen last week, you do want to tweak it. Because one thing you can't do is, the same crowd has now seen you and another wrestler wrestle a few times. The moment they can start calling your match, you're going to lose their interest.
Yeah. Did he win this weekend? Or did he wrestle?
I did not get the chance to get his results yet.
Oh, yeah, we'll have to talk to him and see if we can.
Paul Verk
next
won.
week. I see.
Yeah,
yes.
So congratulations to Paul Verk.
That problem child we know.
Yeah, those feelings are very mixed here at 13.
Are you still working on getting him for an interview?
Yeah.
All right, yeah.
He's a new champ, so he deserves the spotlight.
Yeah. What champ did what did he win?
He actually beat the System for the MAW championship.
That doesn't surprise me, even though we have a problem with that boy. He definitely is championship material. They're telling
He's one of the best in the game right now.
Oh, my God.
And he's only like 25. He's going to get better. And it's
yeah.
going to be
Oh,
scary.
definitely, yeah.
But,
All
yeah,
right.
so to give the Bucks credit, this was not their normal match, and this was match of the night for sure.
Yeah. What was that? One of the first matches, or right in the middle?
That was the main event.
Oh, that was the main event.
The first match was the TNT Championship
So
match.
they ended the show at a high point and a pop.
Yes.
Very good AEW. That's the way you do it.
Because unfortunately, I have to agree with Jim Cornette. They started with something that just wasn't believable. Now, I have been somebody who's been very high on Orange Cassidy, especially in the ring.
Yeah.
Because I do think I'm like, in the ring, he's a hell of a storyteller and performer. It's very good, and he doesn't do the bottom rope grab anymore, which is nice.
I got to watch him.
Yeah.
He's not doing that anymore?
He doesn't do it anymore.
Oh, that's good.
But in the ring, I love him. And I'm like, I get the character now. Like, I get it. At some point, you're going to need to evolve it, but I get it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Him in the ring with Warlow didn't seem like it should have been happening. Because Warlow feels like a main eventer.
Yeah, he does, yeah.
Especially after beating MJF. Warlow feels like a main eventer. Warlow feels like a guy who should probably challenge Jon Moxley for the championship at some point very soon. Him in the ring with Orange Cassidy. Now, I thought they had a decent match. But, once again, this is where I agree with Jim. The look of it at first, I said, Warlow should probably be squishing him.
Definitely.
Like, this match shouldn't last long. I think it went for 14 minutes, I think, through one commercial break.
And they put it on. They could have probably did a different match first.
You know what? Here's why I was okay with it being first. Because the match after this
was horseshit.
Well, it wasn't even the match. The thing after this was Chris Jericho. So.
Oh, well.
Yeah. So I would rather see Orange Cassidy first than watch Chris Jericho first anymore.
There you go. Well, at least Jericho. If you got that first, Jericho first, you could have a meal, puke, eat again, take a shit,
dump, and
then be back. You know, then all right. You know, have a moment to start out. But
they had a decent match. They did give Orange Cassidy a chance to kind of shine a little bit in the match. They didn't try to make Warlow look weak at all, though. Only powerbombed him twice and then got the win. And then they shook hands afterwards. Like I said, it was the one thing I agreed with Jim Cornette with. When I heard about the match, I went, huh? And then when they were like facing off in the ring, I'm like, love Orange Cassidy, but they kind of relowered you on the card, so this doesn't this doesn't feel like this should be happening. Chris Jericho is next.
And he's bringing back the Painmaker for next week.
Yeah.
I did see that.
I'm going to be in the minority, and as a black man, I'm always a minority. But, unless I'm in a black city. But.
Then I'm the minority.
Yep.
Yeah. Only thing I got for it is my name. That's it.
I'm about to say, your name is pretty black. Until you walk in the room, people are like, oh. Okay.
Leroy, Mike. Yeah. They'd be like, that little white guy named Leroy? Yeah. How you doing?
So, on WrestleView.com, I took some notes of people's notes of.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. There we go.
Me and Josh are going to be in the minority. Most people thought that this was a great promo. It was okay. It was boring. It was middling. It just feels like him and Eddie Kingston are just. It goes on and on and on. This is very much Shawn Michaels Triple H, except for the fact that at least Vince was smart enough after the second or third pay-per-view to go, all right, we're going to split this apart for like 3 months.
Yeah.
Like this has to stop for a little bit. So he's talking about, Eddie and Eddie's failures and how, anyone who becomes a friend with you becomes a failure. And you got Ruby Soho hurt last week in one of the worst looking AEW segments, which says a lot about bad segments because they've had some terrible ass segments.
Oh, God, yes, they have.
And he said, well, I'm not a wizard. I'm going to be the Painmaker again. Okay. And by the way, they're having a barbed wire everywhere match.
I did see that. So, what the hell is a barbed wire everywhere match?
You want my honest opinion?
Sure.
I have no fucking idea.
Okay. Because I saw that, I'm like,
I waited 45 minutes, by the way. I have no fucking idea.
Yeah, I mean, barbed wire everywhere, but does that... It's going to be barbed wire around the ring?
So barbed wire matches usually... So I think basically the concept will still be what Oneida once did. And that was it's in ECW has done it too.
Yeah, yeah.
It's the barbed wire on the ropes, and where they back up the crowd to kind of put a fence around the crowd, and then they put barbed wire around in the inside of the the staging of the ring there.
Okay, so they put it in the ring on the ropes
Right.
and then around the ring,
Right.
and push everybody. Okay,
Right.
And the most likely they probably would have some baseball bats with barbed wire on it, stuff like that. Probably
Right.
kendo sticks with
Right.
barbed wire,
Right.
2x4s.
Right.
Well, not kendo. Yeah, probably 2x4, not kendo sticks with barbed wire.
Right.
Don't think that would work too well.
Let me tell you this, Leroy. It's not going to be anything as good as you would see in EEW. Sorry. ECW.
Yes.
My bad, Paul. I love you. ECW and Oneida's old promotion. You want to know why? Because it's Chris Jericho. And these things seem to never go well. Does anybody remember the Mimosa match? I do.
Somebody got thrown in a mimosa, and it sucked.
Like I said, it was entertaining because it was bad.
Yeah.
I told people, I'm like, dude, I believe, I think that would have been episode maybe 56 for us. Go listen to me because Zach didn't like the match. I'm like, I was entertained because it was terrible. It was terrible. It was supposed to be a way to push Orange Cassidy, and they sent him right back to the mid-card then. And then after he lost to Kenny Omega, they sent him right back to the lower mid-card. So now we're going to do a barbed wire everywhere match. Okay.
What's the point?
Maybe this feud will end.
Oh, no, we're not going to be that lucky.
I need it to be over.
I know, but they're not as smart as us where they would end it. Because Jericho needs to stroke his ego more.
The pain. I can't. The pain.
That's why he's coming back as the Painmaker.
Yeah, he is the Painmaker.
He's gonna bring you more pain.
He's a pain in my ass, and I've had a hemorrhoids before, so I know a lot about pain in the asses.
They suck.
They're awful.
Oh, they suck.
And that's what Chris Jericho has become. An old pain in the ass, an old hemorrhoid. And unless I go to the doctor to get the surgery, get the tissue removed, it won't go away. I don't fucking know why we're doing this.
No, there's no point. I mean, is it going to get the good ratings? Maybe.
And then, of course, after he talks, after the commercial break, Kingston says Eddie Kingston type shit. I don't care.
So you mean Jericho did his promo, they went and did commercial, and then Eddie came in right afterwards?
Right.
Okay. All right, yeah, I'm not a producer, but it's like, wait a minute here. Jericho does his shit, and then, no. Eddie should not, no. They should have one or two matches,
right,
and then Eddie come back on. I mean, that's...
Like I tell people,
that's the smartest way to do it.
The producing of the show is just schizophrenic, but I've accepted it because the man is on cocaine half the time. So it is what it is.
Yeah.
It really is. Yeah. There was a world title eliminator match. Basically, this is their way of doing number one contenders matches. It was Jon Moxley versus Konosuke Takeshita. Now, in the wrestling world, he has taken some heat. People, as I keep explaining, where he's from, in Japan, technically 17, I think even 16 is considered an adult, boy or girl. Does not matter.
Yep.
So you may not like that there's a story out there that, he was at a bar, blah, 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 may have hooked up with a 16-year-old even though he's like 24. But in their culture, everyone's an adult there.
Yep.
So I hate to tell you, but you're going to have to just let it go because there's really nothing you can do. Like, that's their culture.
Yeah.
That's their culture. So accept it and move on, or don't accept it and not talk. They're not going to change their culture for you, and you can't ask them to do that. So, but the whole point of the match, of course, is like a number one contenders match against a champion. If you win, you get a future world title match. I think even your boy Corny would have had to be impressed. Because recently, he's been down on Moxley because he's just gone back to being this hardcore deathmatch wrestler. And it's a little boring.
He's done it a lot.
This match, he wrestled more technical. And as we all know, if you remember his WWE days, he's more than capable of it. Mm-hmm. He's a very talented wrestler, Jon Moxley. One of the absolute best in the world. Takeshita stole the show. And this is a very physical match. I wouldn't say it was Japan physical, but it was still a very not for the weak at heart physical match. Now, of course,
we got to remind people, even though the way it's spelled is not called Takeshita.
No, it's Takeshita.
Takeshita. Even though it's spelled like that, that's not how you say it. I'm not good at pronouncing some Japanese names,
and that's why I'm more than happy to do it.
And I prefer. It's like looking at that. It's like, what? Okay, explain how that name is. But yeah, I have heard very good things about him. I mean, yeah. So
now, a lot of people's thoughts. I actually share the thoughts. I almost would have hoped maybe Takeshita would have won, maybe by disqualification, whatever.
Yeah. That would have been fine.
Because I think he doesn't need to win their world title, but I think him in a world title match. And by the way, John, as a quote-unquote interim champion, let's end that. You don't even know when Punk's going to be back.
Yeah.
It's at that point, it is okay as the promoter to go, hey, Punk, kind of need the title back. I will find a way to figure out, getting you a title match when you come back from injury, but the injury is much more serious than we thought it was, and I need my world heavyweight title picture to move on. That's just the business of it.
If it's supposedly broken,
he's going to be gone for a while.
Yeah, and it hasn't been officially reported yet.
Right.
I mean, are they just too afraid to say it?
Listen, I guess it's a way to try to protect the wrestler, but this is why I understand the business side of, okay, well, if your injury is much worse, man, I got to take the title off of you, and you can do a thing where he comes out, he relinquishes the title. Guys, if I can't defend it the next few months, I gotta relinquish, right?
Yeah, WWE has done that.
Yeah,
a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's nobody cares.
You don't get hurt by it. It's just like, damn, this sucks. He's hurt, can't defend his title, or she's hurt, can't defend her title. Can't wait to see her get healthy, whomever, and they come back, and we can't wait to see them back. Go get healthy.
Yeah, I mean
you just holding on to a title for no fucking reason is it doesn't help when you got a guy who's champion, because this is what New Japan ran into when Will Ospreay got hurt.
Yeah,
and they were like, well, we won't take the title off completely. And I'm just like, you guys have never done that. You guys have always let the champion, if he got hurt, go, hey, can't defend it for a while. To me, am still the champion. But I am going to relinquish this title. But when I'm healthy, I'm going to get my title back. And there's nothing wrong with that. Because that way, when they come back, immediately they're a main eventer still.
Oh,
it doesn't hurt your booking at all.
Huge pop and ratings, everything. It's just huge. I mean, that is the way it should go. And unfortunately, it's probably not. Because seeing him and CM Punk and John Moxley go for the title will be good.
Yeah,
will be good.
Match. Yeah.
But I don't want to wait till next year.
Right.
I mean, if I want to see that, like Cody, he'll be back in January. Waiting till January is a little long, but I could handle that.
Right.
But waiting until this time next year to see that match,
right.
No, I don't know. I'm going to lose interest. I'm going to get bored.
Right.
And it's going to suck.
Right. And it's one of those things. It really doesn't help your title picture at all.
No, I don't.
So, guys, I'll throw some history your way. So, Triple H, once had the other knee injury. It was well after his original return, and people, if you remember, he was once called Fat H or something because he came back to wrestle King Booker, but he was a little out of shape when he came back. The people forget he was a champion, and he had to relinquish his title.
Yeah.
But just the promos themselves of him coming back and fighting Booker T, people forget they were actually going to turn Booker T face, but because of the pops the promo videos we're getting for Triple H, they were like, well, fuck, I guess once again we got to bring him back as a baby face. Like,
yeah.
But there's nothing we can do. And sometimes there's nothing wrong with that. You don't hurt your booking. You don't hurt your world championship. The wrestler is still a main eventer.
Yeah.
And there's some fervor of when they return, like, oh man, but wait, when they come back, they're gonna get their title back. You having an interim champion for over a year did New Japan no favors. Like I keep saying, you keep wanting to take from New Japan, but you're also taking their bad ideas, and I don't know why.
Because he thinks it's a good idea. It's you want people like me to watch your show, but you're doing this stuff that makes me still want to not watch your show.
It's such a weird thing to do, but otherwise, this was a great match. Mox, Mox as your champion doesn't hurt your company.
No, it helps you.
It helps you. But he was a part of the Shield. He's a former WWE champion. I think former Triple Crown winner himself. Like
I believe so. Yeah.
But guy's a Hall of Famer. But it doesn't hurt you.
Their list of injuries are really piling up.
Yeah, they are.
So that I hope that gives them a thing saying they got to change their stuff, because
we'll see.
You look at the other side. Is there a lot of injuries in WWE? Not really.
There's some, but not as many as AEW.
Yeah, and it's like, Big E is the biggest one. He's
he just got the good news.
He's recovering, stuff like that.
He'll actually fully recover at some point. So.
Yeah. And they're giving it time. They're giving it time.
Right.
And it's going to be okay, but no.
And by the way, he is booked to do interviews and stuff for SummerSlam weekend. So I'm sure we'll actually hear from him on WWE television at that point.
That'd be on the bump, maybe.
Yeah. Well, so he's addressed that a little bit, basically saying, like, hey, we all have a bad slip up. And, he's not blaming Rich. Things go wrong.
Yeah, shit happens.
And he's going to make a full recovery at some point. And then he, of course, mentioned, like, even if I don't wrestle again, I'll be very proud of the career I've had. Now, let's be clear. No one wants him to not come back. So I think he was just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
But, it was funny because as soon as he threw that out there was some backlash to, like, no, Big E, we need you back, big boy.
Oh, God. Yes, we do.
So, next were a couple of promos. Brody King cutting a promo on Darby Allin. For those who don't know, they actually have a long history back in PWG.
And was it just over the last weekend where they were at a card show?
And he beat him up.
And he beat him up and threw Darby through a table?
By the way, Brody King is actually the lead vocalist of a metal band. I forget the name of the band. So, yeah, it was kind of like his show was nearby. I do respect what Brody King and Darby Allin did there, because basically they allowed the fans to take a video of that. They told the promoters about it, and you get some good buzz off of that. So, Next was a Christian Cage and Luchasaurus came out as they got ready for their match against the Varsity Blondes. Christian, of course, talking trash, just saying terrible stuff about Brian Pillman Jr. Yeah, I mean, so there was the question. There's a very popular question out there. Hey, we had Edge and Christian both turn heel this year, but it feels like Christian maybe got the better heel turn. In the end, so far, yes. Unfortunately, yes.
Odd if I.
But the start of the Edge one was incredible.
Oh yeah, I found out his band, Brody. It's God's Hate.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go. I should know it, and I literally forgot.
Well, that's all right.
But next was the actual tag match. This was just literally kind of a beatdown. I mean, like I said, they've been pushing Luchasaurus like a monster, and yeah, Luchasaurus just basically beat the tar out of both these kids. And yeah, it wasn't even close.
Well, that's the way it should be with him anyway,
right.
Of course.
I agree. There was kind of some setup. They also announced that All Out is taking place in Chicago in September. They're actually doing a full weekend. Of course, a couple weeks before, they'll be in Minneapolis. If you are in the Minneapolis area, you might see me because I'm actually trying to get tickets to go and see the AEW Dynamite show in Minneapolis. Shit, I think that's in 4 weeks.
What day is that on?
That's in August. That's in like 3 or 4 weeks on a Wednesday.
Well, yeah, I'll be down for.
Yeah, that would be fun.
I'll be in August for a lovely Vikings preseason game in August myself. So yeah.
Here's the problem with AEW, and WWE had to learn this lesson the hard way.
Yeah.
It's the fact that you tape at least, I think it's like an hour and a half of dark and dark elevation most of the time. Well, sometimes, and then depending on like where the pay-per-view is and all that, they'll tape a bit more. Even though you have the studio now in Florida.
Use it.
And then you also tape Rampage.
Yeah.
It becomes like a 4.5, 5 hour show.
I don't want to be there that long.
So in the past, SmackDown used to be about the face you made, and when you realize you might want to go with me, and then you realize it's like 5 hours to go on a Wednesday.
I have better things to do on a Wednesday.
Like I said, I'll go by myself and get booed out of the arena. I don't care, but
we would appreciate that. And if you wear one of our shirts, I'd be happier.
Oh, I'm going to wear one of our shirts. And by the way, you can get one of our shirts by just hitting one of us up on Facebook or on Twitter, and we will make sure we get a shirt to you.
Yeah. I still got some retros. I got to get some new ones in.
So yeah, let us know. We'll put your order in today. So yeah, WWE used to do it would be Velocity. If you went to a SmackDown show, it would be Velocity.
Yeah.
An hour before, and then of course they would have a dark match before that, but most of the time it was never any major wrestlers, so you would just be walking to the arena and there could be a match going on, whatever.
Yeah.
Most of the time people didn't care. And then you would have the taping of SmackDown or whatever. Or if you went to a live Raw before it was 3 hours, it would be a dark match, Heat, Raw, a really cool segment afterwards to send everybody home happy.
Yeah.
Now, I have been told, because I'll just tie this in. Our plan as a podcast is to actually go to Raw.
Yes. October 4th.
And so...
Yeah, we got tickets already bought and paid for.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll wear stuff to make us loud and proud so you don't miss us.
Like I said, I believe there's a Jets-Vikings game the Sunday before, so I might set something up because I actually know a couple people who run some shops and stuff down there where, you want to come hang out and greet me and all that before the show the next day? Come find me. Come hang out.
Oh, all right, yeah.
Here's the thing. Raw being 3 hours, and luckily at this point, Heat was already done.
Yeah.
But every now and then they would tape main event. So now you're talking about a dark match, 3 hour Raw, the Raw, the post Raw match that they like to do, which is usually like the main eventers and stuff. And it was always fun. They would do fun stuff for the crowd. And then like half an hour for like main event. That's like a 4.5, 5 hour show, like a 4.5 hour show on a Monday night. That's tough.
Yeah.
That's tough. Now, what they did was, now they tape main event, but it's like, so if you ever watch main event and there's not a lot of a crowd there, well, it's taped before Raw actually goes live. So that way, as people are filing in, there's stuff going on.
Yeah. And that's a very good way to do it.
Well, and it also allows you to work out your production stuff early on so you don't have any issues when you go live.
Yeah.
SmackDown is kind of the same thing. They might tape some stuff for like main event and stuff before then too. So that's why sometimes it seems like they're in different cities. AEW does it all on one Wednesday. Dude, that's way too much wrestling. Like, kids got to go to bed.
I know. They'd be sleeping in the... Lay down and go to sleep right there. Got your blanket for you.
Well, like, the NHL used to take heat because, like, during the playoffs, the playoffs is, right before June, so there's still school. And sometimes they would mandate on the East Coast, like, these 8:15 start times to games. And parents are like, well, yeah, I want to bring my kid, but by the time we get home, it's 1 a.m. Like, this is insane. Now, I think the last 2 years, I think last year they started like, hey, East Coast games, especially during the school year, got to start at 7.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just in case they do go 3 hours, parents can still get their kids home by 11. They can get to bed, go to school the next day. Baseball, it is what it is. You do a doubleheader, you don't get done till 1 a.m. Most people have already fucking left anyway. I don't care.
Well, yeah, it's a long game. You got time to sleep in the seventh inning stretch.
Right. I've been to like a couple doubleheaders in my life, and trust me, that second game sometimes if the game's like 0-0 in the fifth, you're already like napping. You're done.
I would be napping in the fourth. Trust me.
Basketball, what's nice is they mandated start times like 25 years ago, and so did football, because they understood, especially like football having the Monday night games. Hey, these games can sometimes go 4 hours. If you're on the East Coast, start this thing by 6:30. Like that way, people can get the hell home. So that's the one thing I am scared about for AEW. But luckily, there's no school for anyone the next day, and whatever job I had, I'm just gonna be like, yeah, I'm not coming to work on Thursday. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I know. For that night down at Raw, I think I'm probably gonna. I usually work Tuesday.
Yeah.
I probably will take Tuesday off.
There's a job I'm looking at. I'm like, hey, since I'll be gone that whole weekend and Monday, I'm gonna take Tuesday off too, because when I get back into town, I'm gonna want to sleep in. I'm not gonna want to get up at 6 a.m.
And I know it's like you'll be the odd man out, kind of, because both me and Zach will have our better halves.
Right, and that's okay. Actually, I might sleep on the way back.
There you go. Well, you can, so it's because somebody else is going to drive for you. So.
Actually, since I'll actually be down there before now, I'll have to drive myself back. But yeah,
that sucks.
I mean, they'll have the ticket and everything. So.
Well, yeah. You just got to find them. I know. I got mine.
So there was some setup for possibly Hangman joining a couple members. I think Alex Reynolds and John Silver of the Dark Order to take on the House of Black in a trios match, which I think did happen on Rampage, and I'll skim through those results.
All right, yeah.
Jake Hager and formerly known as Cesaro, Claudio Castagnelli with William Regal. This is not long-term storytelling as people will put it out there.
Yeah.
Because how can AEW tell a story that WWE already told?
Because some people, they already... No.
No.
Different people telling stories,
right.
Not the same shit.
But, of course, this match was excellent.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
These two boys can go. And by the way, it's not like you see Jake Hager wrestle a lot on Dynamite, so this was kind of a treat.
Oh, yeah.
He's very much Roman Reigns. Usually he's just there to look big. Great match. Could have cut the match by about a couple minutes, but otherwise, I still think second best match of the night to the main event we talked about earlier. We had Lexi Nair trying to talk to Hook. Hook is one of the funniest characters in AEW. And, they've been featuring him more on Dynamite. He just needs to start doing something now.
Is Danhausen still?
Every now and then, yes, Danhausen's still with
So under Wednesday, it's Hookhausen every once in a while? But
once in a while. So the friendship is basically still there, but I think now they're trying to finally push Hook as a singles guy on Dynamite.
There we go.
We had them show footage of Thunder Rosa losing to Miyu Yamashita in Japan.
Okay, yeah.
Which was a very good match. She will now get a shot at the AEW Women's Championship. Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter, of course, interrupt. Britt Baker's basically talking about how she should be champion. Of course, she's a heel. This is what she should be doing.
Well, yeah. Trying to get her rematch.
Right. She did mock Thunder Rosa and Storm's little friendship. And basically, I think this seems to be setting up a tag match at All Out with Jamie Hayter, Britt Baker, Thunder Rosa, and Toni Storm. Serena Deeb took on Anna Jay. This was a great match. I don't know why, by the way. Here's why I did I went to a group board talking about AEW.
All right.
And I said, the biggest problem with AEW is they just put all the women in one thing.
Yeah.
For 20 minutes. Maybe not even that. And
yeah, they do that. Pigeonhole them.
You damn near forget everything they just did. This match was fine. Anna Jay's a really good wrestler. It was only 6 minutes.
Yeah.
Now, in WWE, you're used to the shorter wrestling match times.
Yeah.
So when you get a longer one, you actually appreciate it. You're like, oh, man, I'm glad they let that thing go because that was a banger match. AEW, you're supposed to be the wrestling company, right? Why are the women only wrestling for 6 minutes?
They're idiots. Not the wrestlers, the promoter, of course.
The promoter. Deeb did win by submission. She didn't want to let go of the hold after the match. It looks like her and Mercedes Martinez are going to fight for that ROH Women's Championship.
Okay, yeah.
Should be a banger match.
Yeah, definitely.
And then in the back, Jay Cargill and Kiera Hogan start talking about Layla Gray, and they basically have a splinter in the baddie section right now.
Oh, jeez. You see how much I care about that.
Here's the thing. This is WWE storytelling.
Yeah.
There's an excellent triple threat match that's going to happen at All Out. I think it's going to happen at All Out. Maybe it's this week. I'll have to check the matches.
I haven't seen anything yet on that, so.
So it's supposed to be Jade versus Athena versus Chris Statlander for that TBS championship. That's a banger match.
Yeah.
The story setup has been very 2008 WWE. Terrible. There's just no reason. Besides the fact that these two women deserve that match because they've also both almost beaten Jay Cargill recently.
Yeah.
There's really nothing else ties together they think they're tying it together to me. And I'm just okay, well, the match will be banger, but this feels very WWE of just I don't know why it's happening, but I guess it's happening. Okay.
Yeah.
And then, of course, was the main event match next. So, overall, I gave AEW Dynamite a 3 out of 5 this week.
Okay.
And for them, that's a pretty high 3 out of 5. I thought the matches there were a couple good matches I talked about, a couple bangers. which AEW is capable of producing. The show is still frantic as fuck, but like I said,
Oh yeah.
when your promoter sniffs that much sugar booger, white girl, it just expect this.
It hasn't been any different ever since they've been on TV.
Nope.
So it's been like, oh, I'm not hating on them. It's just the facts. It's been like that. Every once in a while, WWE has one of those shows, but that doesn't happen very often. It's just like a normal. That's their thing,
Right.
for whatever reason.
I'm gonna quickly go through Rampage real quick. We did get a promo with the Axe Boys and Billy Gunn before the Acclaim came out and kind of kicked some ass. So the Acclaimed are now fully babyfaces.
Are they still doing that finger thing with their dad?
Not anymore.
Okay, good.
That was just.
That was kind of.
So that was not Max Caster, the other guy from the Acclaimed.
Yeah, that was
with
just
Billy Gunn.
That was bad.
Scissor me, daddy. Well, I think they really do that because the guy from the Acclaimed is gay, but like,
I thought that was very bad.
I'm half and half on it. Well, I agree. It's terrible humor.
It's not dad humor at all. That's just really bad
Scissor
humor.
me, daddy ass. Yeah. But there's a lot of, as Arlen said last week, he loves that stuff. I know a lot of other people who loved it, but I was just like, okay. I love my stupid humor stuff too, but that one didn't work.
Yeah,
for
it's
me
going
as
too
much.
far.
So scissor me, daddy ass. By the way, that man is 52 and he's in that great a shape.
He's in damn good shape.
That's ridiculous.
I hope I'm not going to look that good one. I need to get some human growth hormones.
If I get in the gym right now, I got a shot.
Yeah, I'd have to have Jordan Grace come over here, kick my ass, and train me in human growth hormones, and maybe in 5 years I'd look like that. So about his age right now, and when I get his age, then I'd look like that, kind of.
Oh,
It'd take a
man.
lot. Oh, it'd take
That's good stuff.
that and liposuction maybe will help. I don't know.
So Rampage, which is the other part, I guess, of
The continuation
Fyre
of
Fest,
Fyre Fest, yeah.
Night 1. Saw the night start with the Knights of the. They're supposed to be called the Knights of the Black Throne, but for some reason AEW keep calling them the Kings of the Black Throne, and I have no fucking idea why. But they beat Alex Reynolds and Josh Silver. Decent match. Really decent match. Now, for those who don't know, a couple of weeks ago, Malachi Black actually spit the mist into Miro's face. And so this week we actually got a video package Redeemer promo about that. Miro's so good.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't matter what company he works for. He's so good. And he's just underutilized, period. Also, Darby Allin did return the attack to Brody King. And Sting and Malachi faced off a little bit. I do not want to see that match.
No.
Everyone's talking about how they want to see that match. I'm like, so
No.
Sting can get squashed?
That's about it.
Like, he's too old to be fighting Malachi Black. Jonathan Gresham tapped out Lee Moriarty in another awesome match. I mean, Lee Moriarty's just on a roll. And, of course, Jonathan Gresham. I mean, what is there not to be jealous of? And one of the reasons we'll get to later. But,
yeah, oh, yeah.
even though the most beautiful of us can say the dumbest things, but we can learn from them as well, and we'll get to that.
Yes.
Tony Schiavone afterwards was in the ring with Tully Blanchard and Jonathan Gresham. Gresham basically was talking about how, he'll out-wrestle all the fan favorites, blah, blah, blah. I think Gresham has kind of been half heel in AEW so far.
Yeah.
Claudio's music then hit, and basically Claudio's now challenging him to a match.
Yeah, I did see that, yeah.
Woo!
She made a damn good match.
Give them 25 minutes.
They're going to bust down that.
the roof will cave.
Oh, yes, definitely. Oh, yeah. That'd be a hell of a match.
So I cannot wait for that. We also had a very interesting segment backstage with Christopher Daniels. This is the first time I think Daniels has been on AEW television in like well over a year.
I think you're right
His
there.
contract expired.
Yeah. So he signed a temporary
I'm
shit,
guessing
probably.
he just signed a handshake deal, probably.
Yeah.
He's basically kind of doing a segment for Samoa Joe to set up the match with Jay Lethal. So at some point very soon, we should get the announcement of where Ring of Honor will now be featured all the time. And not just Dynamite and Rampage and all the, Dark Elevation, but they're supposed to have at least one main of their own shows.
Either on TV or YouTube.
So either on TV or streaming.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Are they still working on what, HBO?
Discovery Max.
Discovery Max. Okay. All right.
Because basically they have to combine all. By the way, for those who don't know, the Discovery Plus thing has so much content that you when you combine those two into one app, which will be helpful, by the way, because HBO Max had 3 tiers of payment. And
I think so.
And what'll be nice is Dave Zaslav has said, there'll be 2.
That makes it a lot easier.
Well, because he was like, we're getting a little stagnant on our subscribers because people are like, I'm not paying you $17 to get all this content. This is like, it's bad enough I'm paying Netflix like $20 now. Like, so I think all of them. I think if they all stay at about $12 a month, because otherwise it's going to start feeling more expensive than cable. And at that point, people will just probably go back to cable or satellite.
I lucked out. I changed my deal with my wireless provider, and it included the Disney Plus bundle with
See, well, you can kind of get that, then that's nice.
Yeah, so my phone company is paying for my Disney Plus and
stuff.
And
I want to get HBO Max back because the content on there is phenomenal.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think they also have some of the older, like, TCM movies, like MGM stuff.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
For now. Amazon, now that they bought the catalog, is going to get most of that back. But yeah, there's a lot of good content there. But, yeah, so either it'll be on probably, I'll probably say what'll end up happening, it'll be on, like, TBS on a Thursday. They'll just seriously TBS because it's AEW does some of the best numbers on TBS.
Yeah.
So they'll probably just add it to Thursday.
That's no problem.
Which is cool because then for those who love wrestling like me, I can be like, hey, what's cool is I can watch this ROH new show and I can still put on Impact side to side with it.
Yeah, I know, it's great.
After watching WWE NXT UK earlier. I'll take it.
So much wrestling.
Right.
Oh, so much
like
fun.
Being spoiled with wrestling every week is just beautiful, beautiful stuff. So, Christopher Daniels kind of sent a message to Jay Lethal, Sanjay, and Satnam on behalf of Samoa Joe. At some point, we're getting that match. The next match is Athena and Chris Statlander beat Charlotte and Robin Renegade. Then the baddies came out and completely beat up the two baby faces, allowing the champ kind of look strong over them. She could lose that championship because they could take it off of her in a triple threat without her having to be pinned.
Well, yeah, and that is the safest way to do with a champ and not hurt that champ. I know. It always has been that way.
Right. Because so far she has now surpassed Goldberg's old record of days undefeated.
Yeah, 500.
Yeah. So she's much more deserving. Anyway,
Oh, your Goldberg hates. It's so much. I love it.
And now
I love
we
it.
might get a celebration of Goldberg from WWE at some point at the end of the year. I'm kind of disgusted. So Lee Moriarty cut a really cool promo, just kind of being disgusted in himself. Like, I keep coming close, but I can't beat these champions. Like, just it's good babyface work.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And then out of nowhere, Matt Sydal comes up with Dante Martin. So I think we're getting Lee Moriarty and Dante Martin on Rampage within the next 2 weeks.
Oh, that'd be good.
That's gonna be a spectacle.
Good to get one of our boys back on the TV there.
So from what I've heard, the update on the brother is it's gonna be a minute. So I feel bad for him because they could let his contract run out, and unfortunately, it would be because he's been hurt so often, which is a damn shame.
Oh yeah, I know.
So,
well, it's the good or bad is they're both still young.
It's not a bad thing because they both are so young, but it does stink because I like seeing them together on AEW television.
Yeah,
because it was nice to go, well, here's something to root for.
Yeah, it's like why are you rooting for them? They're boys from Minnesota.
Yeah.
Gotta love it. I mean,
and then the main event was Lucha Brothers versus Private Party. Of course, Lucha Brothers won. It was a really fun match. Andrade El Idolo, of course, really upset to watch the Lucha Brothers win. So that story is still kind of going on, but
he's
decent episode of Rampage.
He's possibly hurt too.
Got to be honest. I'm be absolutely honest. Andrade should have stayed away much longer.
Yeah. Well, supposedly he is injured with something. That's what they're saying.
I hope he gets healthy, but he should have been banging Ashley for much longer because he came back to do absolutely nothing.
I would have been still banging him. Yeah.
And I don't. By the way, people, I don't mean to say it in such raw terms like that, but it's just like spend more time with your new wife because you literally came back for absolutely nothing.
There we go. Consummate that marriage for a few more weeks.
Now let's get back into NXT 2.0.
Hey, no, wait a minute. No. Before we get out of AEW, there was an update on Adam Cole and his injury. Right now, it's reporting he has decided that he does not want to do surgery on his shoulder, and he just wants to do therapy. For it. I hope that does work out for him.
Right.
But I mean, I'm guessing he probably decided not surgery because that was going to keep him out for a lot longer.
Keep him a lot longer, yeah.
And if he can come back and recover from the injury doing therapy, let's hope so.
Yeah.
And then he can come back and be Adam Cole again.
Like I said, I love the guy, and I understand doing things for love because that's why he did what he did.
Yeah.
You should have waited it out.
Yeah. But yeah, hopefully, as I said, hopefully he gets his injuries. He'll let me come back.
I just want everyone to remember that awesome moment at a pay-per-view was literally just about a year ago.
Yeah.
Both guys are now not with the company because of injury, or not actively working because of injury.
Yeah.
And once again, Bryan Danielson, they have no idea when he'll be back.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, 3 main guys are not sure when they're going to be back.
Oh, yeah, because Kenny Omega was in that whole segment, too. So, yeah.
Yeah, timetable next year, sometime after January.
Kenny Omega is he's actually uncertain if he might have to retire at this point. So, yeah. You guys had that big moment, and now all these guys are hurt again. And in much worse ways than they were before. Now, I hope they all get healthy because, to me, their health is way more important.
Yes.
But
so much is.
You had these big moments, and now those guys are gone. Once again, the last man standing is Jon Moxley.
Yeah.
There's something to be said for New Japan and WWE style guys when done right.
Yeah. Keeps you going longer.
You can work a lot longer. Now, some people will point to me and go, well, what about Kota Ibushi? Kota Ibushi's a freak of nature.
Yes.
But it's
it's
amazing he hasn't had more injuries like he's had recently.
Oh, yeah.
So, age has finally caught up with Kota Ibushi. So, yeah. Overall, number one, I do, and I mean this sincerely, hope he gets healthy. I watched the Twitch channel.
Oh, yeah.
I really do like the Twitch stuff. I like Adam Cole.
Yes.
I forget his last name, but I like Adam as a person, and
Yes.
I don't like to see him not do well, but
Yeah. No, I agree with anybody that's injured. Come back, take your time, be as healthy as humanly possible after an injury, and come entertain us again.
there is just something to be said. Like I said, as much as I hated WWE booking at times, there's just something to be said about the way they and Gato and those guys in New Japan do things. It allows you to have a very long career. Now,
Yeah.
I also see it a lot in indie promotions as well, but they also do that because a lot of the wrestlers are very, very young,
Yeah.
and they want to protect them. And they also have like career guys who, mostly stay regional and stuff, and they want to keep them around because guess what? They're ticket sellers in their region. So you want to make sure they're good. But you don't know when Cole's going to be back. You don't know when Brian's going to be back. Kenny could have to retire. Cody Rhodes went to WWE. MJF could be gone at this point.
Yeah. Have not heard a peep about him from anywhere, which is surprising.
Britt Baker's contract is up in 6 months.
Yeah.
Now, she might resign to whatever she might do. She, of course, like I said, she's probably more apt to resign now that Adam's there.
Yeah.
But this is why I said I think he should have waited it out.
Yeah, definitely.
WWE would have.
He's still. He would have been still.
No,
he still would have been doing something.
Right now, she probably wouldn't have been called Britt Baker anymore. Whatever.
That's fine.
You just sometimes you just roll with that 80-year-old man and his weird fucking edicts because he changes his mind all the time. But it just sometimes just wait things out. So
there we go.
But
yeah,
now
NXT time.
Yeah.
Great.
So we had an awesome heel turn. To some.
Surprising.
I thought this was poorly executed.
Trust me, right after they win the title, and then it's heel turn, they were when I saw reports that they were going to do that, they already planned on doing the heel turn. I'm like, so why did they win the belt? To get the heel turn, and
WWE are cursed.
But to do it, so if they would have waited a week or two, and then had that happen, that's fine.
Right, I agree.
Yeah, and fortunately had the unfortunate incident with the skateboard.
Yeah. Oh,
it's whoever made the skateboard. It was bad, but hey, shit happens.
Clearly, that was a pre-production thing.
Yeah.
So for those who don't know, one of our mystery team members is Zach's future wife, Allison. And actually, she's going to be doing some more stuff for us the more we grow, and we love her. She, apparently, as she watched this live, she kind of called because she was watching Cora Jade hold the skateboard, and she could tell, like, I think they've already kind of pre-broken the board. Yeah. And so she...
Because normally she rides it out.
Right.
And she did not.
And the way she said, the way she was holding it, and I used to skateboard a little bit, but Zach was a former skateboarder. She was like, yeah, I think she's turning heel because one, she's not going to ride that thing because I think it's already broken, and two, I think she's going to hit somebody with it. And unfortunately, it kind of went limp, for lack of a better term.
And yeah, unfortunately, before
she got the chance to even whack Roxanne Perez in the back with it. I felt bad.
Yeah,
because it was kind of cringe.
They flubbed it, but they kept going with it.
Well, as a wrestler, I think that's all you can do.
And that's good for them to do. They're learning. It's like shit happens.
Right.
You just got to keep going with it.
The more experience you have with shit going wrong, the better you are at adapting to it.
Well, yeah, it's like on the main route, something like that happened to whoever, they'd be like, hey, and they'd laugh it off.
Right.
And they could get away. Down there, they can't. Yeah, it's good that not I don't know what the tag titles are going to go for this now.
Because here's what happened. So, of course, the night starts off where she was attacked backstage outside. the most dangerous spot to ever be is
it is. It's not in the wrestling ring. It's the parking lot. That's where everybody gets hit.
So somebody's always getting their ass whooped out there.
Yeah. Usually it's the guys. Not many women, but usually it's the guys.
And that's where I first went, pause. Why? I'm like, are they putting this match off? Because maybe they've had thoughts of, maybe we do make her a double champion. Now, it's early, but sometimes if there's momentum, you just roll with it.
Well, yeah, you do.
And Roxanne's got a lot of momentum right now. Or my other thought was, is this a way for, if she loses to Mandy Rose, they gave Roxy an out, right?
Yeah.
The heel turn was never even in my mind. Why? Because they had just won the tag team titles. And I'm like, well, they're clearly, at some point they're going to combine this. They've started kind of hyping up that they're going to do the women's tag team tournament again, which is why they're trying to, on the main roster, get their tag team stuff in order.
Yeah.
This is why you don't fucking overcut the women in your company. That it was just stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Stephanie's going, I don't have enough women on the main roster to do fucking tag titles. It's ridiculous. So yeah. And then, the night's going on. There's some good stuff. Solo Sequoia and what the hell is his name again? Big tall dude.
Von
Wagner?
Yeah, Von Wagner.
Of course, by the way, I love the video package of Chase U. That dude loves to threaten students that piss him off, and I love it. Reminds me of an old professor, man. I love that guy.
Chase U, I love all of the shit they're doing with that.
It was funny because when they originally brought her into Chase U, I went, this is silently brilliant. Because, she's still pretty green in the ring. So if you haven't seen the new girl who's in the Chase U faction, they have had her wrestle a couple of matches. She's still kind of green. Like for sure.
Oh, yeah.
She flubs some stuff, but she's only like 20 years old. She's gonna get better.
Mm-hmm.
Even though there's some people go, oh, why did they cut the one guy that ended up going back to AEW? I don't know. I'm like, to me, that's more than you just being green.
Yeah, it's something they saw that wasn't good.
Right, it was something they saw, and they were just like, we can't work with this right now. You need to kind of go get your experience.
He's going to sow his roots, sow his oats. And
I'm pretty sure Harlan basically got the same treatment because they had him there for 2 years, and they were just like, probably just like, go get some experience if you want to continue this. They probably were like, we've taught you what we can as a big guy, but you can probably hone your own on your own. Because he also popped up in MLW recently.
Yeah, I saw that too. Yeah,
he looked like a big Brock Lesnar boy. Like that's what he looks like. And down there he can actually get work with a lot of big guys, and I think he can get real good real fast. Plus the Von Erichs, of course, run a wrestling school, and that could help too, working with the Von Erichs. So,
yeah, it's Miss Lacey Von Erich's birthday today.
Oh, well, happy birthday to Lacey Von Erich.
I've met that beautiful woman and got her autograph. Oh.
I seen her wrestle once when I went to an Impact taping. That's as kind of far as it went.
Heavy on Wrestling had her up, and I got to get her
nice.
autograph and saw her wrestle barefoot. Oh. Me and my buddy were like, damn. I'm like, hey, look at this. And he's like, damn. He was a little jealous. I'm like, damn right I got an autograph. Ooh.
But yeah, him working down there will help. But yeah, so bringing her up, I thought has been brilliant. And then Andre is just, like I said, at first I didn't get it. I'm like, who is this sweater wearing dumb dork? This fucking idiot.
And now he's growing on you so much.
And now I love it. Like, I can't wait to buy the damn sweater this week, which I'm going to finally do.
Oh, you do it? All right.
Yeah, I cannot wait to buy that sweater this week. I'm a fan. I'm a huge fan now.
That's so.
At the start of NXT 2.0, I'm like, who is this big Chris Evans sweater wearing dumbass dork? and yet like now I can't get enough of them. So, but yeah,
You had your teaching moment there, yes.
I had to have a teachable moment.
Yes.
So yeah, then they were interviewing some people who could be responsible. I thought the weirdest one was the whole Tony D'Angelo family and Carmen Lopez. Because I'm like, she's nowhere near the title picture. Why would she go beat her up?
It's like, yeah, and you say she had nothing to do with it. I know where she is. Boom, yeah.
Well, because I was just like, Carmen Lopez shouldn't even be around the title picture, so I don't even know why her name would come up. It wouldn't even make sense.
And then they bring up, toxic event, attraction.
Which, of course, you would think.
Yeah, and I'm like,
okay, well, that would make sense.
It makes sense, but I'm like, oh no, please don't do that angle with them again. It's just.
I was about to say, WWE is known for repeating stuff where you're like, guys, why are we doing this again?
They have I think. Toxic has a very good possibility of them getting pulled up the main roster.
Altogether, yes.
Yes, it would be great.
I gotta be honest. As good as JC Jane is, and me and Zach were talking about her last week. She on her own. I do not, and it's not her fault. I don't believe she lasts more than 3 months on the main roster.
No.
So they would almost need to have to put them all up together.
And it'd be great.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And then of course they interviewed my girl Thickie James, Thick Stratus, Thedusa. That's the only ones I'm going to use this week.
Okay. Yeah.
We don't need.
I'm working on our lovely moment that we had a couple weeks ago with that. I'm trying to find some pictures and do a little editing and have that up with pictures of her and stuff. So we can go flash through a couple, so we can. Save that to put that. I'm not sure if I'm going to put it on our YouTube channel or wait for a special little bonus for our new
Patreon. By the way,
to add that and
actually look for that announcement and link this week. I actually will probably have it up by Monday night. So
and then I'm going to put that up there. Then I'm going to have you and Zach singing.
Yeah,
that little bit, because I have 2 bits I have to cut from that to have fun and see if it works.
Oh yeah,
I hope it does, because it was very entertaining.
It was the greatest song ever.
It was very entertaining when we went back and forth, and Zach almost peed himself for there. He's laughing. And then when you guys started doing that, I was laughing hysterically, and you had Clara dumbfounded. She just stood here and go, huh? I mean, she didn't know what to do. So great moments, and Derek. He listened.
Nice.
He was so, as he saw his comment about that.
Oh yeah.
He goes, "These boys together, me and you, we're golden." And Zach goes, "Well, of course, that's why I work with them."
And by the way, thanks for everyone sharing the content and stuff. Like
oh
that.
yes,
I got a lot of. I actually met some more new fans. Apparently, we've made here in town, and they got the chance to listen to the song, and they were like, "I've not cried laughed so hard in a while."
Yes.
So yeah, so they talked to Nikita, and I'm like, "Well, this is weird because she's a babyface. Why would she go?"
No, yeah, yeah, no.
I'm like, that makes no. And then when I could tell how she was dressed, I'm like, oh, she's not going for a match, so she's clearly not coming out next, even though she's talking about maybe I should go take her spot. Like, no, you're not even dressed to compete.
No.
And then they have the match. I thought the match was fine. Like I said, my biggest problem with Mandy Rose still in the ring is if she's not in there with a better performer, her matches are literally just okay.
Yeah.
And to me, that's still the problem. Even when she was on the main roster. Now, I thought the stuff with Sonya was pretty good, but as we have now found out, Sonya's just a really good in-ring performer. Really good wrestler.
Oh, she's a great performer. Yes.
I thought the stuff. Well, anything with the 4 Horsemen is going to be good, though.
Well, yes,
because they're all. Even though we probably might lose one here soon, they're all phenomenal in-ring performers.
Oh yeah.
So, she gets to kind of. We're having the match, and then of course it was Cora Jade, who then hits her tag team partner with the tag team title belt. Mandy hits the running knee that they still have no name for for the finisher, and then
did she use that on the main roster too?
yes and no. She also had, I think, on the main roster, she also had like it was like a brain buster of some kind, I think, too.
Maybe they're waiting to name something like that till she gets on the main roster or something. I don't know, or they haven't yet to figure out her another finishing move for her.
I don't know. They don't. To me, anytime they don't have a name for your finisher, that's not a finisher that's long to stay.
Yeah.
You'll have a new one at some point soon.
Oh yeah, they'll be like, yeah, we don't like that. We're gonna give you this one. That can set up it.
When like the only time it happened and it was always kind of a finisher was when Bryan Danielson used the running knee, but it's something he's always used in his career.
Yeah.
But yeah, otherwise I'm like, yeah. Anytime they don't name your finisher, it's not long to stick around. So she gets the pin, and then that's when Cora Jade gets in the ring. She goes to hit her with the clearly already pre-broken skateboard, and it just flubs.
Yeah.
Now, of course, she does what you should do. Is she starts to beat her with the other one, which, by the way, she clearly gave Roxanne some splinters. And it, unfortunately for her, though, it just had less impact because of the flub.
Yeah.
So Cora Jade is now a heel. Now, they've done this before with tag teams who had the titles. Of course, Seth and John are the most high-profile one recently.
Yeah,
when he turned heel after they won it, after, Roman announces that his leukemia came back. And
I remember that,
and then there was a heel turn, which I told people, I'm like, actually, I got to be honest, that was a stroke of fucking brilliance. The problem was they did nothing good with it afterward.
No, they did not. No.
But I at the time I was like, this was a stroke of brilliance. Turn him heel on the same night. Roman, gets everyone emotional because he has to leave because he's battling leukemia again. I'm like, that's just brilliant shit right there. And then they try to do an angle where he was getting shot in the ass with a needle to not get. It got stupid.
Yeah, and the mask. The mask was okay, but
well, the mask was bad too. But the shots in the ass, I understand why at that point he's just like, I got to get out of this company. What the fuck am I doing? Like, this is stupid.
Where they were going there, I don't know.
Was dumb.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then they were kind of doing a maybe like Nia Jax versus him thing, and then WWE decided to pull back on, which I get how he thinks it looks to sponsors, but I'm like, they all are wrestlers. You can probably get away with that.
There we go. Yeah.
So, but anyway, it wasn't good. The heel turn wasn't good.
So I do hope they improve on it. Most likely will improve it on this Tuesday. They're going to do that. Set up something that I'm hoping that they're setting up for our lovely lady of thickness to take the belt from Mandy. Take it from Mandy. I'm a little sad they're going to take it off Mandy. I'm still a fan of Mandy. She's a beautiful young lady.
I am too, but like I keep telling people, it's just weird to me. Anytime I watch a Mandy match, I'm like, it was okay, it was good.
Yeah, and the last time she had a match with Nikki, I mean, it looked great. I mean, I thought they had a pretty good match.
I thought it was good.
Yeah.
As unfortunately for her, as Nikita gets better, the match will be better because of Nikita. So.
Mm-hmm.
It's I don't know. That's just me though. Anytime I watch a Mandy match, I'm like, it's just always been missing from her game, the ability. Like I don't need every wrestler to be able to have a 5-star like technical classical.
Yeah.
Just be able to tell a good to great story in the ring.
Yeah,
and it's just something that's always missing from.
I just think it sets up hopefully that they'll do that, and then, I mean, they honestly could pull all three of them to main. And then Nikita Lyons has a competitor that started just same time as her. They were trying to get them head to head. So a next competitor for the title, they already got it set up.
Yeah.
I mean, they could put toxic attraction on Raw or SmackDown, Mandy could be a manager. They could put her in that so she doesn't have to wrestle. They could throw her in for triple threats because she can do it.
Right.
But I mean, they could have her as a mouthpiece for that. I mean that would work.
I'm sure they would still let her kind of be the quote unquote leader and have matches. Because it's not like they weren't using her on the main roster. They clearly were. But yeah, like I said, it's a weird thing, but
it could be something like that. And then I said, we'll see. I mean, a lot of it, rumors, is it's going to happen after SummerSlam. So at the end of the month, which SummerSlam is 13 days.
Mm-hmm.
Not this Saturday.
Next Saturday.
But next Saturday. This Saturday, I'm going to party with my cousins.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. Gotta love that. Love my family.
And you know what? Sometimes when you need to have a good time, you go hang out with family, or you watch Thicky James and Thick Stratus wrestle a match. But sometimes you need somebody to talk to.
That is true.
Now, everyone, here are words from us, from our new sponsor, BetterHelp. This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp. Have you ever felt depressed, stressed, anxious, or overwhelmed? Well, BetterHelp is here to help you. I, in my life, guys, have dealt with mental depression and a variety of mental health issues and have had to use therapy to overcome them. Well, BetterHelp is a great program here to help you.
BetterHelp offers licensed therapists who are trained to listen and help you in a private, online environment at your convenience.
There is a broad range of expertise in BetterHelp's 20,000-plus therapist network that gives you access to the help that may not be available in your area. All you got to do is fill out a questionnaire to help assess your specific needs, and then you get a matched therapist within 48 hours.
Then you can schedule your secure video and phone sessions. Plus, you can exchange unlimited messages, and everything you share is completely confidential. You can also request a new therapist at no additional charge at any time.
Join the 2 million plus people who have taken charge of their mental health with an experienced BetterHelp therapist.
Special offer to 13 card subject to change listeners. Get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/13 cards. That's better, HELP.com/13 cards.
Thanks again to BetterHelp for sponsoring this podcast.
And thank you to BetterHelp for sponsoring our show. We definitely appreciate that. And listen, everyone, use that code. If it's nice that we can kind of give you guys an escape, give you guys a laugh, but sometimes it is really nice to just be able to go and talk with a professional, because your mental health is the most important thing you can deal with.
Oh, yeah. I'm very happy to get this brand new sponsor that we're going to have every week.
We're very happy to work with BetterHelp. And, yeah, everyone always remember to take your mental health very, very seriously.
Yes.
Now.
All right.
Into Vince McMahon.
Oh. Well, he got one win now.
He got one little bit of good news.
Yeah.
For once in his life this year.
The XFL got dismissed.
Here's the thing.
A lawsuit, which is good.
It sounds like basically what happened was, it sounds like Dwayne might have worked out something with Andrew Luck's father, Oliver Luck. And Vince kind of agreed with whatever, the deal was, and Dwayne Johnson lawyers brought to the table, and so they were able to work this thing out. Vince is still...
Well, he's certainly got a lot of trouble.
He's still got a lot of shit going on, but he takes one W.
He takes one W because he's not going to take another one, unfortunately. He's going to take some. He's going to take some L's.
So unfortunately, and I'm going to kind of throw these rumors out there so that way if the reports come out this week, you guys know you heard it from me first. So the rumor mill is HBO is planning on having HBO and a couple other news people have apparently reached out to his purported victims to talk about these incidences with Vince McMahon in the WWE locker room.
And I heard that Netflix is no longer doing his documentary.
Here's the problem. it's filmed, but they decided to pull it off the release schedule. So they have it,
but
we're
they're
just
not going to see it.
Um,
Maybe eventually.
I think eventually we will, because whatever goes on with this, they're gonna have to now edit in.
Oh yeah.
And then I think it sounds like CNN may reach out to former wrestlers of his. Now, Mickie James had one of the more interesting posts this week, and she took unnecessary heat for it. But
well, yeah.
The post was basically like. It was like, oh, that's all I had to do to get time on WWE television. For those who don't know, like, when she first started, you know, she was supposed to be this kind of cowgirl, you know, personality and things like that.
Yeah.
And it was kind of Vince and that old guard that told her to be the lesbian. Well, she rolled with it. Her and Trish rolled with it. And they gave us one of the greatest women's feuds we've ever seen.
Oh, I love that feud, man. It was so awesome.
And then, of course, the way things ended for her in WWE weren't pretty. But once again, give Papa H credit. He corrected that shit as soon as he found out what
Damn
was
right.
going on.
Yeah. Oh. Glad that person is no longer working for them.
Because she reported it, and then Triple H literally, I remember, like, he tweeted, like, I will look into this, because he didn't know.
Yeah.
And then more wrestlers from WWE and former wrestlers at that point in time started posting underneath Triple H, and, well, why didn't you know, blah, 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 blah. And then all of a sudden, 4 days later, well, that person is no longer working for the company.
Yep.
So, give Triple H credit. That's big. To have that in place. Unfortunately, it sounds like for years, and it's Jim Cornette kind of addressed this loosely, in the best ways he could. Because I mean, he could probably say whatever he wants to on his show, and no one will get offended. But it'll get leaked when they do the
yeah,
the and then, putting out the show. He was like, he's like, this isn't good for Vince, but unfortunately a lot worse happened back in the day.
and that's not very surprising at all. I mean, totally.
And, he was like, some people probably deserve to burn in hell for a lot of shit that happened back in the day.
Well, it's...
especially with women.
Well, you look at, like, we don't want to watch that Dark Side of the Ring episode with Jason Sake's dad anymore. God. That right there was, I'm like, shit like that happened. And we know, unfortunately,
the shit
it
with
did.
Randy Richter and all the women under Fabulous Moolah.
Yeah, I mean, not very good.
Ugly shit, man. Just really ugly. Like.
Yeah. So, I mean, we all look at that as horrible. It happened. It's in the past. We got to try to look past that. I mean...
Well, we got to learn from it.
And also learn. And I think...
But that's the problem.
We haven't told them.
We're supposed to learn from these things.
Yeah.
And Vince apparently only got this memo like 2-3 years ago.
Yeah, and he's like... well, maybe he's just looking at, because, friends with Trump and a few other, big boys, people in the White House, and, if they can do that in the White House... Oh, I can do this.
Here's the thing, though.
Which is not a good thing.
Knowing Trump the way I would think him and Linda know Trump, wouldn't you not want to be that guy?
Well, that's true. Yeah, I wouldn't.
Like, you actually built your business, to what it is now. You didn't just take what your daddy gave you and almost piss it all away. If it not for marketing, it would probably all be fucking gone already.
Yeah.
You would think you would learn. Listen, I have been a manager before, and one of the big things you're supposed to be as manager is protective of your workers.
Yes.
Yes, you need to be stern with them every now and then. But most jobs mistakes happen, and most of the time I always said, as a manager, you shouldn't be trying to just be the power hungry person. You just go, hey, listen, Try to do it this way next time. That way we don't have these issues.
Yep.
But you are not supposed to be trying to bang your underlings.
No.
There's a reason corporations like Walmart put in place these things. Well, technically, you guys aren't even allowed to fraternize. Basically, going out. With
Well,
your
even
underlings.
a small company like Quick Trip
Yeah.
has policy on that
'Cause
also.
It's a power dynamic.
Oh, yeah. You can't have a relationship with somebody that has control of when you work and stuff like that.
Right.
Not a good thing.
Right. So, you're the CEO of a company. Now, we hope to grow and hopefully have employees. One story I believe you will never hear, especially since you now have a lovely lady. You guys seem to be deeply in love. It's very beautiful.
Yes.
Zach and Allison are getting married soon. Very beautiful. And I'm the lonely guy. It's fine. But one story you will never hear about me as we grow is that I tried to bang one of the employees. Because,
Yeah, you're not my type.
well, I can get anytime. But,
Yeah, lonely nights. I'm sorry. Yeah.
sorry to the lovely lady. But yeah, because here's the thing. One thing I understand is, one, they're kind of an underling. So I'm supposed to be guiding them for the success of the show and their own success.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And so, yeah, if I develop a friendly relationship with the employee, no problem. Because sometimes that means they'll work harder because they know you believe in them and they just want to see you succeed. They know you want to see them succeed. Hence, then we all succeed, and that can create a very positive working environment. When you start slipping around with your underlings, you not only, one, most of the time it's illegal,
Yeah.
but two, you set yourself up for so many issues that then you are forced to almost step away from something you were building.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately for Vince, as more information has come out, and now they're going to interview all these women and some of the ex-male employees who apparently know of some of these things, which is why, like I told people, John Laurinaitis will not be back.
No.
I expect that Stephanie and the board will announce his complete firing before September rolls around. That's when
Yeah.
I expect it. Or Nick Khan to do it, but one of them are going to do
Yeah,
it. soon.
a statement's going to come out that are you done.
I don't know if Vince makes it to the end of the year.
Yeah.
Like I told people, it's because here's the thing: even before the investigation finds anything, now some people feel like Vince had been trolling people for a while about coming out the shows, not really saying anything, welcoming people or introducing John Cena, getting his pop and leaving. Well, here's the thing: that shit changes once public opinion sways.
Oh, yeah.
And unfortunately, if these interviews do happen and they become more public, well, just for financial reasons alone, they're going to make Stephanie, Nick, and Triple H probably, for financial reasons, fire Vince from the company.
Yeah.
Basically take his retirement plan and go home and be a granddad.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately, now that news companies are looking into talking about this story, I think he's unfortunately in for an unfortunate hurt. And the fact, when I saw these rumors pop up and I got the chance to kind of talk to a couple of sources about some of this, a couple of sources said two things. One, if Vince goes, he won't be the only older head that goes when it happens.
Yep.
Basically two of them thinking, I would expect a couple of board members to go too.
Yeah.
So I don't know when it will happen, but I'm starting to suspect this thing's going to happen before the end of the year. I would suspect it happens sometime before or right after the Saudi show. Like they somehow make it through the Saudi show, which by the way, Saudi Arabia wouldn't care. They have a murderer of a dictator for a leader.
Yeah.
I said it out loud. I don't care.
Well, you're not the only one that has said it. Won't be the last.
Damn sure won't be the last. And then we'll probably get a ton of announcements because then it'll kind of lead into Survivor Series. And then the company will want to be like, hey, we got to get ready for the next Mania season. We don't need... So let's kind of get leadership in place because we're going to get Vince out. Because like I told people, because people are confused. They're like, it's his company. He's still... I'm like, no. No. His daughter is principal owner, and now she's CEO.
Yep.
Because they made him step down from that role. If you go look up his name on their corporate board, he's not there anymore. He's out of the CEO position. He is head of creative. He will remain head of creative until the next line of stuff rolls through. Unfortunately for him, all these news outlets starting, the more they start to report on this, and it starts to hurt their financials, that's when he's in the deepest trouble. There's nothing he can do because at that point they're going to be like, dude, there's too much money on the line. You
they got to
down, or we make your daughter fire you. So, because they've already recused themselves from the investigation. So, take your W now, Vince. Because I don't think there's much more as far as the other cases that are going to be beneficial.
No, definitely not. It won't be good. But definitely coming up for them, too, on July 25th. Rey Mysterio's 20th anniversary with the company. They're going to do that at Madison Square Garden.
He's been in pro wrestling for 35 years.
Mm-hmm. And 20 of those years with WWE.
It's crazy.
Yeah. And he's still going. This probably is going to be his last hurrah.
For sure.
I mean, and what they're going to do with him and Dominic with Judgment Day, that's still
Who
going.
have strangely kept the Edge music. Anytime I think of Alter Bridge in a wrestling format, I think of Edge. So it's just...
Well, they have to. I mean, they don't have his voice introduced
his voice
anymore.
Is no longer in the beginning anymore, but...
Yeah. And they have to keep that. I mean, there's no way. They have to keep that music. They couldn't change it.
Right.
Because it wouldn't work. So...
Man, I gotta be honest. It's just odd.
Oh yeah.
The whole thing's odd. And then, by the way, they didn't even start doing the supernatural stuff. So apparently, Edge won that battle, but he's not even in the group anymore.
He's coming back anyways.
WWE is so weird sometimes.
I know. Everybody still think, I think it's somebody else. No. The promos are Edge.
Mick Foley, Dudley's, Hardy's. At some point, I'm sure we'll see something with Taker. I think there was an Eddie Guerrero thing. This is all, guys. It's all Edge. It's the most obvious. And then, like when you actually watch the silhouette walk, it's like, okay, well, this is clearly Edge.
Yeah, it is. It's. When is he going to be back? Is it going to be SummerSlam? Because I'm guessing because they haven't announced all the matches yet. There's only 5 matches. For SummerSlam. Yeah, they're going to come out with more. But most likely, I'm thinking whatever with the Judgment, hit them and the Mysterios at SummerSlam, I'm guessing. They probably already do something like that.
Because I think tomorrow night we're going to get a new member of Judgment Day. It won't be Dominic. And then that way it will lead into Edge returning for SummerSlam. And then Dominic will finally turn on his dad, I think. And then the stable will have 5 members. Rhea is still a part of the group, from what I've been told. It's just with the current. By the way, please be okay, Rhea.
I think she is.
When she took the photo with the heart monitor, I'm like, that's not good.
Yeah, I've seen her. She's posted some other stuff on Twitter and stuff like that. So it's like. She's doing good. I think she's just healing up and relaxing.
And maybe the heart monitor thing was just a precaution.
Yeah.
But when she took the photo, I don't think I think that was the first time she probably wasn't expecting the better part of the wrestling community to kind of react like, whoa.
Yeah.
Because we just heard about a legendary wrestler who put his boots in the ring at WrestleMania because
of the heart.
He's got a ticker.
A cardiac
so great.
cardiac issue.
Right. So and that was heartbreaking because it's not the retirement I think anyone wanted for Triple H, but
No.
But yeah, so yeah, I hope she gets healthy. But yeah, I think by the end of SummerSlam we'll have 4 full-fledged members of Judgment Day.
Okay, so it's going to be
plus Rhea, who's not
Rhea, Damian, Priest, and then you think
2 more. I don't.
You think they're going to have 5?
I think they'll have 5. I don't know who the next one is because I would have guessed Tommaso, but the fact that Ciampa's with
the Miz
for this was going to be a tag match with Logan Paul, AJ, Ciampa, and Miz. I think that takes him out the running for now.
And Logan Paul will be on Monday, but him coming in and working with Miz and AJ to come in.
Here's the thing: he needs
and
to
Ciampa.
work with AJ. He needs to work with AJ because he's supposed to be a babyface, and he still gets booed.
Yeah, I have seen that. I was like, wait a minute. Everybody hated him.
Everyone hates him and his
brother.
brother.
But he's going to come in as a baby. Maybe there might be some positive shit.
From what I found out about this contract, he is going to be contracted to do matches on Raw and at pay-per-views. So,
yeah, I mean,
he'll be. From what I know, it's only a year deal. I think the announcement was like 2 years, but I think it's technically a year. And then I think it's kind of, it's not quite the Goldberg deal, but it basically has like, you won't see him every week, I think, wrestle, but you will probably hear or see him every week.
Yeah, no, he's a good athlete. He proved that in his last match.
Yeah.
Promo wise, I think he can talk.
To me, if Bad Bunny wasn't so focused on music, I think he could have gotten signed to the company as a baby.
Oh, hell yes. That started it all. I mean, he lifted the bar. And
because it was just one of those things.
You got to hit that.
Celebrity matches used to just kind of protect the celebrity. Ronda Rousey was always different because she was always training to be a full-time member of the roster.
Yeah.
But
Bad Bunny went into
Bunny literally went and trained his ass off.
He did.
And just garnered everyone's respect and the willingness to take some pretty harsh bumps.
Yeah. I think the only time they had some good athletes come in and perform and do well was way back in WCW days.
Yeah.
Rodman, the Mailman. I mean, they actually came in and did the work. Even Jay Leno did a little bit of work.
I'm about to say, Rodman did the work, but Rodman still probably shouldn't have been doing this shit because people forget when he first came in, they were in the middle of a finals run with the Bulls.
Yeah, I know. The Worm was just having fun.
Yeah, he's something different. Yeah. But yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see the first interaction with him now on the Raw roster.
There we go. Yeah, Monday night is going to be on there. We're just going to be fronting the Miz and Ciampa. It'll be interesting.
I can't believe I'm saying this. Recently, Raw has actually been a lot better than SmackDown.
Oh, yeah. Oh, this SmackDown. This week's SmackDown was good. I was nice to see they announced a guest referee, but and I'll talk about that in a sec. But when I was watching it, the way they started out SmackDown this week with Liv, it's great. She had a great pop, but the match wasn't that good.
I don't know I don't know what's going on with Natalya.
Yeah. Maybe it was her, but it just...
A lot of this feels like it's her.
Yeah.
And it's getting real frustrating.
Well, it's surprising because she's not a bad worker.
She's not. She's one of the best. She's supposed to be one of the best wrestlers in the company.
Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, it's just the whole thing was like, and I'm like, the crowd wasn't in it, and they want to get a good match to have the crowd in it. They weren't really in it. They were in it at the beginning, and
Well,
nothing through.
What
But
was nice, I think, about this match was it basically eliminated the whole thought of a triple threat at SummerSlam. That's not happening.
Yeah,
because feet are clean.
when it came out and everything, that's what I thought too. It was like, oh, they're gonna have a triple threat,
Yeah.
and then no. But I think with the reaction the people are getting,
She still gets one of the biggest pops in the company, though.
yeah. Well, Liv is right
Yeah.
now, but the way they were reacting to that match, I figured, yeah, they can't do a triple
It
threat
was
because
half
it's
and
not
half,
gonna.
but there's just something. Like I said, if I was working backstage in WWE when they try to take all their Twitch channels away, but guys, don't do that. Let me teach you about Twitch, so you can go talk to Twitch.
Yeah.
Get some partnerships, make it work.
Oh yeah.
Right. But there is something to be said for those who can't focus on a couple of things at once. And maybe that OnlyFans account for Natasha and her sister ain't helping her in ring stuff. I don't know. To quote a great meme from back in the day, I'm just saying.
True.
Because these last few matches have not been good.
Yeah, the
Now,
house.
her promo work is still good, but the matches have not been
Yeah,
good.
the house show she had were
Where it looked like she legitimately got mad at Liv.
and no and
Kind of no-sold the finish.
and she quoted, she said something on Twitter about it, and then she deleted it.
Well, she said
So.
something about, this is Bob, Natasha's representative, and this story is false. Natty, we all saw it.
Yeah, it was kind of obvious.
Like,
I don't know.
The fans, you forget now when you guys do house shows, it's not like the fans aren't recording the video. By the way, there's nothing you can do. I mean, so like people talk about like the LA Bowl, and then a couple of the main theaters in New York will have you like, hey, put your phone in a bag. You know, they label the bag, and then they give you a receipt of the bag number, so that way when you leave, they give you the phone back, so you can't record the performance and stuff. But in a theater, it's maybe like 1,000, 2,000.
Yeah.
The Hollywood Bowl, about the same amount, maybe a little bit more.
Yeah.
Arenas can carry like 13,000 people. That's a lot, and if they understand, that's a lot of fucking work.
Yeah.
So now you got fans in there kind of recording the show. Well, we all saw it. Like,
I know.
like you can't. Video doesn't completely lie. Now, video with no audio or edited audio can be a lie.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But if it's all clearly just raw footage, then people are going to draw their conclusions, and that didn't look good at all.
No.
So yeah, and it clear, whatever, they must have definitely hammered it out before last Friday, because those issues seem to not be there.
No, yeah,
with,
yeah.
with Natalya and Liv, but yeah, I don't know what's going on with her, but maybe stop showing your titties. I don't know.
No. No. I have not seen those. I would not mind.
I mean,
And her sister?
here, let me tell you, you can go pay the $50 a month to go see them if you want.
50?
Yeah,
Holy shit.
yeah.
No.
Oh, yeah. See, now you changed your mind.
I don't want to pay 50.
So
I'm cheap.
I'm gonna say it since we're talking about OnlyFans.
I probably could go find it probably for free somewhere.
I was about to say, I'm sure somebody stole the footage. And
Oh,
put it up.
definitely. All I need is one little snip, and
Right.
just to see
Somebody
how nice.
Probably put it on some out of touch porn site or something.
That's like I'm horrible. I just want to see him once.
Or Reddit. I'm sure they're on Reddit.
I'm happy. Just once, and I'm happy.
So here's my thing. I have no problem with people doing sex work, because it is work.
Yeah.
It is a career, and I would never hate on that. I have no problem with people in their OnlyFans at all. You are not going to convince me, though, to pay you to see your naked body. Why? Because it's usually not that hard to get people naked anyway.
No, with enough drunk and alcohol, you probably can.
Sometimes it's not even that.
Yeah.
You let them lead their way to them wanting to be naked. Because people who usually get naked sometimes like to be naked and they feel good about their body. That's fine. Why the fuck would I pay $50 to see you naked? I'm good.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I got bills to pay.
Yeah. And it's like OnlyFans and to make people mad at us. OnlyFans is not only just for some people, adult stars, to get naked and do stuff. They have a lot of stuff.
They do have artists,
a lot of,
musicians,
and they do, and they do have a lot of. There's a lot of wrestlers on there.
Right.
Jordan is one of them.
Right.
That she has exclusive content on there, and
Right.
she tells people flat out. And there's a few of them too on there. I can't remember who else, but they flat out tell you, you ain't gonna see no nudes.
Right.
You know.
It's all basically like magazine shoot stuff, kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Which is fine. And now as we get into Jordan Grace, so it's funny because she tried to do the right thing.
Yes.
And then unfortunately, the sister of Nancy Benoit, I will say this overall about the situation. Number one, I think Jordan in the end did the right thing.
Yes, she did. Yes.
Apologized to David, about the comments, because really, like I said, even the brightest of us say the dumbest things.
Mm-hmm.
And those comments about Chris Benoit were just dumb. Number two, I understand Nancy's sister being upset, but as I said about Nancy before, when people have asked me, it is her right to feel the way she feels because the man did kill her sister. And I get why she can never forgive him for it. Like I do understand all that. I do. I'm not unempathetic or anything like that. I get it. But I think sometimes if we don't think of things in their proper context or in the context that we're given, then we just choose to see things in a very negative light. Chris Benoit had never really had any issues with Nancy. As a matter of fact, people forget he kind of like took her away from another famous wrestler, and that caused a lot of issues backstage at WCW.
Yep.
He actually loved that woman.
Oh,
Loved
yeah.
his kids. Unfortunately, the head issues. I mean, they talked about his brain, and they were like, his brain was fucking mush.
Yeah, I think that and the combination of the prescriptions and the drugs he got didn't help him, but it hurt him.
And basically, he just won. From what the stories, people talking about the days leading up to that, it really was like a 2.5 month process before he finally snapped.
Yeah.
And back then maybe they didn't take wrestlers' health as serious. Clearly, they didn't.
No.
I mean,
no.
God rest Scott Hall's soul, but I mean, I'm happy we still have Kevin Nash, but Kevin Nash is basically walking on 2 bionic knees at this point.
Yeah. And he was just recently up here.
Yeah.
The other night, we had some of our followers and listeners that were at the show.
Right.
And got to see Kevin Nash. We're just in northern Wisconsin.
People forget that
for
Steve
MAW.
Longo used to be one of the most physically imposing guys on the planet, and on top of the ALS, some of the injuries he sustained. I mean, like I tell people, I'm glad he's still with us. He doesn't even look like the same man.
No, I saw a picture with him in his hospital, and yeah, he's a shell of a man he used to be. It's so sad. I mean,
yeah, it's heartbreaking.
It is. But I mean, Jordan, she came back and fixing it with Dave. She is trying to fix
some money to a couple of
the CTE for brain injury, stuff like that. And I think she is doing something for Nancy Benoit also. I mean, she did apologize, say, hey, I'm doing this. Do not forget about it. She's doing everything that. I mean, and it's just funny is like that came out, and then I just recently saw Paul Heyman an interview with him where he's talking about Benoit, and he say, it was like, hey, don't diss your boy, and he's like, okay, as a wrestler and a performer, wonderful. As a man, fuck him. He did something. He had a choice. 2 other people didn't have a choice. That's bad. And he separated professional with private, which is what you do. And people get mad at me for that. Professionally, as a wrestler, yes.
Right.
Awesome. His personal choice at the end, what he did as a man, as a person. Wow. I'm a good man of faith. I can forgive. That's a hard one to forgive.
Right. And like I tell people,
And
I think I never want to ever come off over passionate or compassionate or anything of that nature. It's for me personally, I've always felt the Crispin Waugh thing was it was so complex the more I learned everything about it and how the injuries finally added up. The prescription drugs, because people forget that Doctor has been indicted. I think he actually is in jail because he also did it to a lot of other wrestlers as well. That to me it feels like one of those things where he really at the end was not the man he had been before.
No, and I do believe that that person, he is in jail.
And the doctor, I believe the doctor
he
is
is
in jail. But yeah, I guess I've never, after learning more and more about the situation overall and all that, I've never been able to completely hate Benoit because I've been like, so I've had 2 concussions in my life. I've dealt with brain injuries. They're tough.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes your brain can tell you things that aren't actually happening when it's a little damaged, and it starts to mess with all your relationships and things like that. Another reason why we are proud to have BetterHelp as a sponsor. And back then, that really wasn't like, unless you sought out to go to an office to go see a therapist all the time. Online things nowadays are an absolute blessing.
Oh yeah, they definitely are.
Because you can do it from home, you feel comfortable in your room doing it. Usually, you can just kind of video chat with people, and that's, for a lot of people, that's much better than kind of being forced to drive and feeling like you're embarrassed to talk about these things. And I think, unfortunately, at the end for Chris, it was just past too late. Now,
well, I think in that, I mean, as people forget, don't forget too, is that was, I mean, within months,
6
less
months.
than that, from losing Eddie.
6 months.
And
after he
that,
lost his best friend, yeah.
And it was this, besides his wife, on the road, that was his best friend.
Yeah.
And as a fan, that was
Eddie's own mental issues and demons came to haunt him in the end. Basically.
well, yeah, it was his drugs and everything and everything he did. I mean, but as a fan sitting at home and watching that,
By the way, 2 days
that was
after,
tough.
like a day after the whole Vince McMahon is dead segment, people forget about that.
Yeah.
When he quote unquote got into the limousine that blew up.
And then all this shit happens.
And then like a week later, all that shit started to happen. Yeah, because they had the wrestlers start cutting like fake promos of Vince being dead. Like I told people, there's a lot of shit back then that just does not age well.
Yeah, I mean, it's just.
But yeah, it's
all that stuff added up. I mean, and as anybody know, you only. People deal with things in their own way, and things happen, and
right.
the domino effect, and that's what happened with Benoit. Unfortunately, it's not an excuse. I give him, but
not at all.
it's kind of
it's
what
really complicated.
What
really.
what can happen,
right.
and has happened, and he did not. As you can say, I'm a man. Do we want to go get help? Not usually. We got to be.
We don't even like going to get directions. If we feel like we don't need to. Like,
we want to be a real man.
Right.
And we don't want to get that damn help.
Because of the things instilled into us as kids. But yeah, Junior Seau also had a real.
Yes.
His brain might have been a little bit worse than Chris Benoit's. Now, as people said, like, well, he just ended up killing himself. But what people don't realize is, well, his family also told the stories of how in the last couple of months he was getting more agitated, more violent. And yeah, in the end, he took his own life. God rest his soul. But, like, it's like the that's why the whole CTE thing cost not only WWE, but all these, like, you know, the sports organizations billions of dollars. Because no one was dealing with it before.
No.
And now all these athletes with all these issues later on in life, and so many of them, like, committing suicide or committing murders and suicide, like, it made people go, like, what the hell is going on? And so, yeah, it's really complicated. To me, it's so complicated because like I said, I never excuse what he did. But I go, it's not as simple as he just decided to kill the two people he loved the most. So, which is another reason why I still think WWE should pull him in the hall. They should show the footage, but they should also never look over what happened in the end.
You know, I'm glad that they're not making any reference to him in WWE, but they have brought back where he's actually in things.
I mean, well, they still call a cripple or crossface a cripple or crossface, but they
call
won't
it
say who did it.
Yeah, they call it crossface, but yeah, he is still in some videos. They're not promoting he's in there,
Right.
but he's in there. They didn't eliminate him because they did before, no reference to it. So,
Like I said, it's one of the weirdest complications because, to me, unlike Fabulous Moolah, I don't think he was a monster.
No, I think after Vince is gone, I think there's a better chance for Chris to be in. I think so.
There's a chance.
Yeah. And it's like, you know, you put Warrior in and had a lot of issues with him.
That guy was an asshole. Now, like I said, I'm not trying to speak ill of the dead. I mean, the stories are out there. Like, he was an asshole.
Oh, I mean, yeah, he screwed Jake the Snake over a couple times. Yeah. And Jake hates him. And that's a strong word to say, but Jake...
he does.
Jake does. I mean...
He'll never mince words on that.
No.
But, yeah, it's... like I said, I give Jordan all the credit in the world for just doing the right thing in a very impossible situation to do the right thing. But I also want to say that you shouldn't have put yourself in that impossible situation.
Oh, yeah.
By saying something where everyone just went, man, that was really fucking dumb.
Yeah. But yeah, no, anybody out there that's following him on Twitter, get that information.
Right.
If you have some spare money that you can put towards it, do that.
Also donate to the Nancy. I forget the name of the Nancy Foundation as well.
Yeah, Nancy Benoit.
It's for like victims and stuff. There are two excellent causes that do.
Yeah, I know.
It's a damn shame.
If you can't find that one to donate, find a local one.
But once again, let me be clear. Jordan Grace put herself in this situation.
She did, and she is regretting it. She's trying to make it better, which I'm very proud of her. I'm glad she is doing that.
It seems like the one that might have gotten to her the most, the backlash comment, from what I've heard, was the Conan comments. Conan was speaking on it.
Yeah.
And, you know, he explained it like I explained it, and which has now gotten people to think more about it, the whole Chris Benoit thing. Because, you know, like you said, like, I knew Chris Benoit for 20-plus years. When we found out what actually happened, we were all literally destroyed because we were like, what? The man loved his family.
So was I.
So, you know, he talked about how, like, he's like, sometimes it would become nauseous how much he would talk about Nancy and the kids. Like, he loved them so much. And how, like, being on the road with Eddie and like that all the time made him appreciate his family more. Because as Eddie once talked about in a promo, I almost lost my family twice to my own addiction. And it made Chris really appreciate what he had done. It's just, between the head injuries and all that other stuff, it really hit a really terrible boiling point. And as Conan explained, to then also in his talk about his professional career, like he wasn't the reason most of you guys are wrestling now, is bullshit.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I give her credit, but also let this be a teachable moment.
Yes,
in
definitely.
Not putting yourself in these kinds of situations. And one of the last things we'll kind of talk about here today is that we did find out our special guest referee.
Yes, we did.
It'll be JEFF JARRE
Like
double T.
Double J. Honestly,
In Nashville. where he's from.
I know. It's like, and I thought for a minute. Wait a minute, they're in Nashville. Oh yeah, goddamn, that works.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know
And
what?
he has no affiliation with either team, so.
Yeah, I said, get on. I said, tell him, hey, slap nuts. Let's go.
And don't worry, he will hit you with the guitar if you don't like it.
Oh yeah, he will have a guitar available probably.
Just go watch WCW footage. He's cracked a lot of skulls with guitars.
He's done it. Yeah, go on Peacock, and you can
Yeah.
watch a lot. He did it in TNA. He did it in WCW.
yeah.
He did it in WWE.
When he came back, he started hitting the back more, of course, because on TV they were like, well, you can't really crack anyone over the skull.
Well,
Except for, like, Elias did to Seth, but Seth was like, I can take it as long as you use the back of the guitar, which is a safer way to do it.
well, did you watch the Smoke and Skull with Stone Cold and Jarrett yet?
I have not yet. Yeah, I need
Oh.
to get on that.
It's good. He told a story because they talked about him hitting Fabulous Moolah in that.
Oh, yeah.
And he said he respects the hell out of the woman because she goes, you better hit me or else. He's like, what? Yeah, you better do a good job. And he's like, okay, yes, ma'am. And he did it.
I will always say this about Moolah. Her contributions in the ring can never be thanked enough.
Yes.
But she was a fucking monster. That's why, like I tell people, I'm never too harsh on Chris Benoit or China or
Oh,
Eddie
yeah.
Guerrero or, there's a few others because there have been some real monsters in pro
Oh, yeah.
wrestling before.
But she's a tough.
Oh,
She was a tough
SOB.
SOB. It's telling you, yeah, you're going to hit me with that guitar. You better make it count, boy.
Her,
Yes, ma'am. That's
her-
all you say.
her and May were tough as hell.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I just
Good guitar shot through tables. Oh, my God.
May was like 80 at that point.
I know.
She told Bubba, like, if you don't put me through this table, I'm going to push you through it. And Bubba was like, well, okay.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. We're going to do it.
Ma'am, whatever you say, I got you. And, yeah, apparently she, like, tapped him on the leg. Like, good job, champ. Like, she was one of the greatest, too. So,
All right.
well, once again, for our other sponsors, Haitian Heat, Dark Arts Entertainment, Hammy and Mama, remember to go to the YouTube page. Go check them out. Go and get your products. Battle Draft Podcast. Go subscribe to their Facebook. Facebook.com/page/Battle Draft Podcast.
And then they're also on Podomatic like we are. So
That's
if you're
right.
on there following us, you get notifications like I do get notifications when they drop a new podcast.
Also for our own podcast, real quick, remember, if you hit the notification button on wherever you listen to your podcast, anytime Leroy uploads them, you will get the notification.
Every
Now,
Monday.
Just to let you guys know, because of the Patreon and why you might want to sign up for the Patreon.
And I did change a picture, so a couple of those you can actually see our logo,
Yeah,
our old
which looks really
old
cool.
newish one, and I'm gonna
Yeah.
have to go out there and get that changed slightly.
Yeah, but
just
it looks really cool.
One word, that's it.
Nice.
That's kind of fun.
That is
I don't
fun.
know.
And so also Luke's photo booth. Remember, anytime you're looking for any great photography and you are in the Midwest region, go find Luke's photo booth.
Good fun thing to do for a family gathering, a wedding, or
yeah.
something like that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and they do excellent work. They just did some great work for the Sidewalk Days here in town.
Oh, they were there, yeah.
Yeah. And then once again, the links for the Patreon and everything will go up tomorrow night. I will try to make sure that they go live. Go check out which tier you would like to subscribe to, because starting next week, and I'll be talking to Leroy about it this week.
Yeah.
I think we're going to change how we release the podcast, meaning
Oh.
if you would like to get the podcast earlier than everyone else, you might want to get on the Patreon.
Yeah, I am pretty good at getting that stuff out because, WrestleMania. That week, I have to get them. You guys leave and, yeah. Oh, my God.
But here's what's nice is now we can just kind of put it, even once you're done editing, we can just put it on a schedule where we can just, we're going to be able to get people who are helping us and supporting us, and we thank you for that.
Damn
we're
right,
get
yes.
you all the content early. So look for those links. Definitely check out those other sponsors. Once again, thank you to Better Health.
Are we going to definitely, are we going to talk about G1 too?
Oh, yes.
We
Real
can't forget
quick,
that.
I almost forgot.
Yeah.
G1 started yesterday. So real quick, the results. By the
Which
way,
block was that? Did they start with?
all four of them.
All four started?
So,
Okay, all right.
Yeah, through each event, it'll be all 4 blocks.
Okay, all right.
So
I didn't know sometimes they didn't have all 4 blocks in
thank
there.
you for reminding me. We were getting ready to sign off, and I almost
There you
forgot.
go. We got to get the New Japan stuff out.
So to start, we had Tom Lawler beat Kosi Fujita by pinfall. Tom Lawler is someone they're very, very high on.
Yeah.
Formerly of MLW. I would not be shocked if he became the U.S. champion at some point after the G1.
Okay, yeah.
You're going to see him get a really hard push in New Japan. Jonah and Bad Dude Tito. I'll let you guys look up who Bad Dude Tito is. I like Bad Dude Tito. They beat Toru Yano and Roy Oiya, who is a young boy, so they beat the young boy by a pinfall. Evil Show and Yujiro Takahashi beat Tamatonga, David Finlay, and Jado by pinfall.
Oh, wow.
There was some Bullet Club shenanigans there.
Heel shit doing heel shit.
Yeah,
there we go.
Heel guys doing heel shit. Kenta, Chase Owens, Bad Luck Fale, and Juice Robinson beat Lance Archer, Taka Michinoku, who it's been great to see him return.
Oh, yeah.
Tai Chi and Zack Sabre Jr. by pinfall. They pinned Taka Michinoku. Kenta just if he doesn't get at least 2 title shots this year, I think his contract comes up. He could go to All Japan.
Okay,
So,
yeah.
New Japan has to be careful of that.
Definitely.
Let me see here. So sorry. Tomohiro Ishii and Yoshihashi and Hiroki Goto of Chaos beat Bushi, Shingo Takagi, and the great Tetsuya Naito by pinfall. These are all the pre-matches that happened before the 4 block matches.
Yep.
So we have from block, I think this is block B. Let me go check. Load up, you punk.
Oh, technology. Love you so much, and then I hate it.
So we had, in an upset win, Aaron Hanare beat the Ace, Hiroshi Tanahashi.
Oh.
Since they turned Hanare heel, they seem to be letting him breathe a little bit more now. And this was a really, really good match. What did I tell you guys about this G1? I'm like, I feel so bad for Tanahashi because that C block. This is C block.
Yeah.
C block is a murderer's row.
Oh, yes.
It's ridiculous. I don't know how the hell they're going to try to do a story where Tanahashi actually comes up with a winning record. In the next match, Will Ospreay beat El Phantasmo. Good match, great match. He still worked together in the juniors before.
Yep.
Will Ospreay winning is not a shock. Like I told people, don't be shocked if Will Ospreay is the IWGP Heavyweight Champion again in January. Don't be shocked. That's why I said he is me and Arlen were talking about him being the dark horse. He could easily get his title back in January.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Especially since they kind of owe him because of the AEW run.
Yeah, definitely.
Jay White defeated Sonata in another classic match between these two. By the way, these two were almost teammates when he was a young boy. They were originally going to put Jay White with Tetsuya Naito and I'm forgetting the name of the faction, but they were going to put them together. Instead, they still kept Evil in there, and then for a while, for those who don't know, Evil and Sonata were probably one of the best tag teams on the planet, especially in New Japan.
Yeah.
This was just a great match. Jay White's, of course, the champ.
Oh, yeah.
He's the king. A little bit of distraction, but not much. This was mostly just the champ being the champ and getting a W.
There you go, yeah.
And then Kazuchika Okada beat Jeff Cobb in a match that if you think a Minoru Suzuki match hits hard, don't watch this. You're not going to be able to handle it. I don't know. By the way, this is to me why also Kazuchika Okada is starting to creep up right back to my number one professional wrestler on the planet.
Yeah.
I love the Rainmaker
Oh,
so
yeah.
much. Jeff Cobb is such an unsung hero. And what I don't like in New Japan is it feels like to them, for me, and a lot of us, I forget the name they would call us as foreigner fans. We just feel Jeff Cobb is just more deserving of more wins over important people. Like, because he's just so, he's in this prime and he's so great. Of course, they lost the tag team titles to FTR.
Yeah.
This match was just brutal. 25-minute match.
Oh, damn.
I mean, they always end with at least two bangers. I think the Jay White match went close to 20 minutes. And then, that one went 25. So there's a good chance you don't see Okada wrestle again until next Friday, everyone.
I don't.
A starting pitcher. He
I don't
goes
blame
once a
him.
week.
Oh yeah, don't blame him. You need some time after that shit.
So and that was A block, I believe. So, those are your winners. If you still can't afford New Japan completely, then subscribe to their YouTube because they do put the matches up in sections. I think they now have a join thing. You can join for I think it's like $4 a month, and they will actually put certain matches up, just like the full matches, but they'll do it in sections. So not the full event, but you'll still get the matches.
Yeah, that's good.
And tonight or in the morning will be night 2 of the G1, and then I believe it's Wednesday, Friday, Saturday next week. And I think it kind of continues like that for the next few weeks.
And for them doing that, we usually hits us 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning.
So the events usually start
our time. Central Standard Time, like
Central
2 or 3 in the morning.
Time, they will usually start at 2 in the morning.
Okay.
Otherwise, I mean, like I've told people, if you have the New Japan app or the site, then you can literally watch it anytime afterwards. Say you don't really want to get it because you're working in the morning. Well, guess what? With that $10 a month, you can literally watch the event as soon as you get home. And what's nice about these events, 2 hours, 20 minutes, out of there.
That's very, very nice.
So basically, unless you get a big New Japan show like Budokan or of course Wrestle Kingdom or a couple of those other ones, most of their events, 2 hours and 20 minutes, and then you're done.
All right. So they're doing one tonight?
Yes. And then,
the
next
Wednesday?
one, I think, is Wednesday, and then Friday, and then Saturday.
All right. Yeah, and that's going to be for the next couple of weeks they're going to do that, right?
Next, I think...
Or 3 weeks.
8 weeks.
8 weeks. Okay, they're doing it for 8 weeks. All right.
Because I think the winner will be crowned near Thanksgiving.
Okay.
So, because like I said, guys, I got to re-look up how they're doing because now they have the 4 blocks. I'm gonna have to re-look up and post on our page how they're doing the finals and all that because I think basically the winners of I think it's A and C, and then B and D will go against each other, and then they'll have the finals between those two winners. 9 times out of 10, I'm just telling you guys, one of them will be Jay White.
I could put my money on him, and I don't.
He's not on like a Reign of Terror deal or anything like that, but he's such a good champion, and he's so good, and they're giving him the chance to kind of really be really great. He's going to be one of the finalists. So.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But. When you're watching, feel bad for Tetsuya Naito and Hiroshi Tanahashi. The two blocks there, these guys are in, are just murderers row.
And you said that was Block C,
Block
you said?
C and Block B are hard.
So whoever's coming out of there, they're going to be a hell
here's the thing.
of
a
winner
Block
out
B
of that.
has Jay White, so he's coming out of Block
Oh,
B.
yeah, he's coming out
But
of there.
otherwise, check it out. Because, like I said, Kazuchika Okada could very well end up facing Jay White again at Wrestle Kingdom.
That'd be good.
But it could also be Will Ospreay. So, once again, the names to kind of keep an eye on. The Ace, unless he loses the next two matches, the Ace.
Oh, yeah. I don't see that happening.
I don't see it happening, but he's always someone to keep an eye on. Zack Sabre Jr.,
Yep.
Will Ospreay, Okada, of course. And then, because like I said, I'm excluding Jay White because he's not going to lose anything before Wrestle Kingdom. And then Shingo Takagi.
Okay, yeah.
So.
All right. Yeah, we'll try to keep everybody up to date as best we can.
Oh, for sure.
Because we'll have a lot to talk about.
Oh, man.
Next Sunday, we'll have a lot.
Yeah.
And I think next Sunday we got to preview SummerSlam because it'll be on the next Saturday. And
I think we're going to try to do an event, and once again, you might want to get on the Patreon because we were talking to the boys from Circle of Friends, Circle of Ring Friends, our buddy
Friends of the Squared Circle.
Thank you,
Cal.
See, I was trying to get the name out.
There we go.
Cal, our buddies podcast. We're going to try to maybe do a watch along, and we would love to have you guys join us on Patreon and do the watch along.
Sweet, yeah, that'll be a lot of fun.
So, once again, thank you for joining us. Zach will be back next week, unfortunately, for everybody.
I kind of miss him.
I do miss him. We love him.
But
remember to look out for the Patreon because I actually might also try to go live video again next Sunday.
There we go. And always remember, find us on Podomatic, find us YouTube, find us on Facebook. You can find us on iHeartRadio. You can find us on Spotify. That's a lot of people that... We're on both the Google apps, so please follow us on there. Let's get more people on our YouTube because we might pull some stuff and not put it on YouTube and put it on our Patreon.
That's
I don't know. We're going to have to do some more of a level universe. So
keep checking it out.
Thank you, everybody, guys. We will see you again next week.
Bye-bye.